Good evening to EFL as we are going to continue our draft content here. We're going to be continuing with the remaining rounds. I believe we have the first six done at this point. As I should probably pause myself on the YouTube so I don't have to hear myself talk because that would be miserable for everyone. So yeah, welcome back to our continued draft coverage. It obviously won't be as presentable as the other one, but with that being said, I still have my friend Duckberg here.
Howdy, everybody.
Hopefully, his mic issues are going to be non-issue, but he seems to think it'll be good to go.
Yep, it was a bandwidth issue more, but we got it figured out. Moana finished.
Sounds good. Yeah, you sound good. So I should be good on that front. So yeah, welcome guys. This should be exciting. Obviously, we do have the GM picks finished up, so we're continuing round 7 on at this point, and that should be interesting. Do you have anyone in particular that you're excited to see go here soon? Your players are still on the board, I believe.
Both of them. I'm excited for Cowboy and America's cornerback to go because I refuse to announce that pick, and that's all yours.
I'm down. I believe
Alexios Papadopoulos.
You don't want to do anything about it. Come on.
Well, no, I just don't want to have to say Alexios Papadopoulos.
So I believe, sorry if there was any kind of audio issue with myself there on my mic. I believe you were breathing into your mic a little bit there, Duck, but I did plug my proper mic in. I forgot to replug that in. So yeah,
my mic thing was close to my face. My apologies.
Yep, so I believe picks are going now. Moholt is going to be posting on the board. And so it should be quite exciting. Wow, look at these graphics. I have not had a chance to actually look at these yet, so this should be good. So yeah, so the Herd are currently on the clock. Where do you think they go here, Duck?
I mean, they've got the quarterback. I think they go some kind of receiver, whether it's wide receiver or tight end.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they have to think about going that front. I mean, I know we do have Bengals player there still, and he could certainly be a potential receiver option. And the pick's in. They go, well, here we go. Scotty Flamingo Jr.
Woohoo!
Duckberg's player. Talk about what you think about this pick. Obviously, it is your player, so how does it feel to be on the Herd?
I mean, it feels good, man. I guess the three of us were all yeah, it was all New York players on that early draft. And honestly, I don't know if you knew, but I had no clue that it was going to be all three of us. But it feels good. I know he said he was quite interested. I didn't think it would be this early. I'm glad it is. And I think it was a good spot to grab me, but I'm happy to be on New York. Time to make some dreams. It's a concrete jungle.
For sure. I do believe. I just want to confirm with the chat here. My mic is good, correct?
You sound good to me.
Right in the chat there. Just make sure you can hear us both fine. Obviously, that is a good pick, though. I'm actually excited to have you. I did not know at all. And I believe the next pick will be the Los Angeles Reign, the 38th overall pick. And you got to think here, and this is just me maybe, but I got to think they're going quarterback.
Yeah, they have to at this point because people are going to start grabbing an extra one soon. So yeah, they got to grab it before there's nobody else.
Yeah. And I believe my prediction was right. A team with a quarterback would pick one.
Yeah, would pick a second one before somebody grabbed the original. Yeah, and and it was New York. Yeah, look at you. My prediction did not come true. New York did pick number one.
I've had a lot of predictions go right so far. So
you've also had a lot of predictions to go wrong.
Yeah, we'll not talk about that. And I believe the pick.
We'll look at numbers, not percentages.
I believe the pick is just about to be posted here as I get the confirmation from our draft coordinator, Mulhole. Thanks to him for doing such great work as well. And it is in the first fullback, I believe, off the board, and that's Bobby Collins.
Bobby Collins.
So this is he is a fullback, right? Yes, he's fullback. I don't know why I had him listed down as a running back. But yeah, so congrats to Collins. What do you think about this pick?
It's interesting. I didn't expect a fullback. I mean, I guess he could, if he's good enough, he could become a running back or, just tear things up at the fullback. But it's not a very highly touted position, so I guess they're really banking on his activity.
Yeah, I will say you can really do a little bit more with fullbacks in this in this sim engine rather than, let's say, Madden back in the day. I believe Bobby Collins was listed as a receiver, if I'm not mistaken, originally, but I think they are drafting him to be a fullback, I suppose.
Yes, he did start off as receiver because in the
He
actual
switched.
player switch, I'm pretty
He
sure he
did switch.
switched.
Yes, he did. Okay, I just
Yeah,
want to confirm that he
which would
is.
explain why he did not go before Stringer.
Yeah, he was listed, of course, originally. And okay, good. The mic is good. I just want to make sure. So yeah, Bobby Collins. Congrats to him. That's a good pick. And it's nice to get a fullback. 'Cause like I said, this is a little more. You can do a little bit more with fullbacks in this. So
Yeah,
the Miami Neptune next on the clock. Got a couple minutes. Probably not quite that long though.
you start at a couple and then it drops. So
Yeah,
we shall see.
where do you think they're going with this pick?
Let's see. So they've been going back and forth a bit between offense and defense. So I think they might push for something on offense a little bit. Possibly go for the next tight end.
I kind of wondered that myself.
We
Either
could
that or
see
maybe a second receiver.
just
Um,
somebody for the quarterback to throw to other than Stringer.
yeah, I mean, even a second corner for that matter. Maybe
Yeah.
they go with Stringer's other player if they really do have a lot of belief in him.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if
Oh,
Wheaties and Stringer have a.
here we go. Picks in. This is a good pick, in my opinion. Tyler Bearbash.
Oh, there it is.
The Neptune take Tyler Bearbash, inside linebacker. So
Yeah,
he
that could.
will be matched up alongside Max Thunder
Oh,
as a linebacking group. That is pretty
that's a
nasty. I know
sneaky
Bash could be
good pick.
excited because he even messaged me. He was like, "I really hope we end up on at least one of the same teams."
Hmm.
I will say this is a great pick. I don't know how his players are lasting this long. I know he's got a bit of a personality concern.
Well, not that. As
But
far as I know, he's not been around as much as he used to be. Like he
eh,
kind of made a comeback like I did. Not as, extreme, but.
he doesn't really go inactive though.
Hmm.
It's more of a he'll retire after. I mean, he does go in. I shouldn't say that. VHL he did, but he still had like a really good player before he went inactive.
Yeah, but that's a sneaky good
Football
pick.
leagues have always been his thing, so
Oh yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think there's any concern here. Yeah, that's a great pick. Actually, I would not be surprised to see his other player go soon.
Mm.
Obviously, we got the Seattle Predators up next. I love their logo. I
It's
was
really
kidding
good.
about the purple thing. Yeah, they actually love purple,
Yeah,
but
they might have my favorite logo, but the Bandits have my favorite color scheme. If that
yeah.
makes sense. So
We'll
if like the
see.
bandit if the
What do
Bandits
you
color
think?
scheme,
I
yeah,
want to hear
like
the chat.
I wish the Bandits color scheme was on the Predators logo. Then I'd be in love. And
Yeah.
like I would tell every other GM I'm not playing for any other team but that. But you know, can't get
No.
everything, and you got to make it fair. If the Seattle good logo that good, it just wouldn't be fair.
We get the chat's opinion here on who's going next. I'm very curious to see what they think. Seattle's an interesting team. They waited a bit on their quarterback. They eventually did draft him. Do you think he has any interest in maybe getting LeVar Ball?
Um, for Seattle, didn't they already draft a running back?
I don't. They did. It is the GM's player, but
It's the
with the
GM's player.
ability
You'd
to
think he'd move.
switch.
Yeah. Um,
I don't know, but
I mean, they've gone
Smitty
pretty.
loves those controversial guys, right?
Yeah, and they've gone pretty heavy on defense so far. Yeah, I could see them grabbing
Someone
LeVar
mentioned
Ball if he
Bushido's other
was.
player here. Ken Cowboy did. I don't know if Smitty would want to take Bash.
No, I don't think Smitty and Bash really mesh well. Not that
I
they like
agree.
argue, but they're just personalities don't mesh well in a locker room.
I agree with Pajodcast Media. LeVar Ball is a complete scrub. Everyone, you should listen to Pajodcast Media because that is the true baller brand, if you ask me. And I am the host of the show, so he can't do anything about it. So, and the pick is in. Phoenix Hood the third goes here, wide receiver out of Oregon. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds of very fast moving parts.
Yeah, that's
I like this pick.
yeah.
I like this pick a lot. And you know, it's not necessarily a member I know, but I'm pretty
Right.
sure I know who it is. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty sure it's because Pick's now. I mean, he's been pretty active, and it seems like he knows what he's doing more than somebody to just show up.
I'm pretty sure this is
So
a certain guy from SBA, and I won't say his name because, but pretty
he's already
sure
picked.
there's. I know because I honestly don't know if he ever wants it out. But
Fair
um,
enough.
with that being said, this is a guy I kind of thought would go higher, and I
Hmm.
think if people knew who he was, he'd probably go even higher. So I like this pick a lot. Um,
Do you think the GM who drafted him knew?
yeah, I do because I think
Hmm.
it's a guy off SBA that I think he knows. If
Oh,
it's
okay.
who I think it is. Or maybe it's a different alias, but it's definitely someone who knows what they're doing.
Do you think that's a fair thing to do to let one of your buddies know who you are under an
I think this
alias?
was more public knowledge to a few people, if I'm not
Fair enough.
mistaken. If
Okay.
if I'm right about who it is, I think about 3 or 4 of the GMs knew.
Okay, so more
Um,
than one GM probably knew. Okay.
yeah, Memphis Bandits up next. They have been going pretty heavy on the offense.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's about time for them to put some interest into the defense here.
well, I think more specifically linebacker. Uh, they do have a cornerback
Yeah.
in Keenan Lewis. They did get their free safety Marcus Bryant, which is a great pick, and those are 2 great guys to start up those DBs. But I think you do need to go linebacker here. Um, I don't know who
I
it
think
is.
at this point you have to focus on one thing on your defense. So if you're going to go linebacker, go some kind of outside linebacker that you know is going to want to blitz a quarterback.
I don't know who we would go with here, but I'd be interested to see.
I could see Daniel Shaw going.
I don't. Green and Kendrick are not
Oh, see, I
necessarily
don't know
don't get
about there.
along, but are not necessarily all that close either.
Okay.
As someone who knows both of them pretty well. The pick is in though, and it is King Fisher, the outside linebacker. So you were correct
Right
on
position,
the
just wrong player.
position.
Hmm.
Yeah, so an outside
Yeah,
linebacker from SMU.
I think what Kendrick's going to try to do here is go heavy on the offense and then just go like stop the pass on defense hard, and then hope that what he does have, whether lineman bots or whatever he can pick up in the linebackers, can at least slow down the run enough so that their high-powered offense can win them games like 49-35.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Pajawcast Media actually did call that pick right, or if they just posted after it was posted. But yeah, King Fisher, 6'3", 240-pound outside linebacker. He's pretty well versed in tackling, and he's also a pretty quick guy. So he's got the right stuff, I think, to be a
Mm.
solid, balanced outside linebacker. Looking forward to
Yeah.
seeing him in the Memphis uniform, and I think this was about time, as we were saying, to go linebacker here. So we got the San Antonio Wolfpack up next. They're definitely got to be. They've been pretty good about getting a pretty balanced team so far, if I'm not mistaken.
If they keep up with their trend, they'll be going offense here and then defense on their next pick. So let me think. If they're going offense here, they need somebody. They're going to go tight end or receiver. I think they're going to want another guy for the quarterback to throw to, for
Yep,
Adonis
and
Devlin to throw to.
the pick is in. You were correct. Wide receiver. They're
Boom.
going with oh god, Yaviz Magic. It's
Oh,
French. No, it's
Yves Magique.
not. I don't
My
think it's.
American, my American,
I'm at least Canadian, man. Like,
Yves Magique.
anyway, the Boise State receiver. He's a red zone receiver, so he's not necessarily going to be the fastest guy, but he's going to be real sure-handed, and a
Mhm.
guy who can maybe be a solid target for the quarterback there.
Yeah, I mean, red zone guys are good, not just inside. Like they play a lot like a tight end, where they're going to be good, coming streaking across the middle there, and breaking off the line.
Yeah, Pajak me is right on this one, and knowing who's behind it, he knows a little more French than I do. And you're right, it is Eve.
Hey, I
Is
was
how you
right.
actually pronounce that. No, you weren't. It was not
I was totally
Yves.
right.
It was definitely not
Yves.
Yves. No,
It was Yves.
definitely not. So San Antonio, yeah. So you think they're going defense with this pick, eh?
Based on their trend, I think they're going to grab a defensive player here. They've got a corner. They've got an inside linebacker. They've got an outside linebacker. They might go safety here.
Yeah.
Um,
Just having a conversation here with our draft coordinator.
Could you
Yeah,
see
I
Playmaker
definitely.
going here? Or
You know, the only concern I have with playmakers, I don't know how many guys actually know who he is, in the sense
yeah.
of he hasn't necessarily been as active in other leagues.
Hmm.
I think he's a great member. I could see Michael Collins going here though, um, especially
Yeah.
given his running backs on San Antonio, and he's also a defensive back. So
Hmm.
that's kind of where I think they're going here, and they have made the pick. So we'll see here in a sec. The Wolfpack select Michael Collins. There you go. Cornerback
Okay.
out of Alabama, 6 foot, 219 pounds. He was a teammate of Max Thunders and Bobby Max. So that was a pretty solid defensive Alabama team. What do you think of this pick?
They got two solid, very good corners here. That was the safe pick, I'd say, in order to shore up their immediate secondary. So I don't see it. Yeah, that it was a good pick. They
I
got
definitely
two good
agree.
corners now.
We are getting some rumors here, and by rumors I mean just a little bit of some information, potentially with a future pick coming up here, um, involving a potential trade here. We're
Do do
still
do
kind of
do do do.
we're still ironing out the details here. I have heard some talk that is between Seattle and Miami, but we will have to confirm that. First, we do have Memphis picking. I really think they have to go back defensive here, although given they have taken at least a couple couple defensive guys of late, maybe that is not the direction it will go. But I still think one linebacker and two DBs is not enough at this point.
I think you got to grab another linebacker if you're going to do it at this point.
I do agree. How many? They only have one corner though, right?
Um,
Yeah, because Brian's a free
yep,
safety.
right. Yeah. So they only have
They
they have
could do
two
that
defensive
too.
backs, but yeah, they have two defensive backs, but only one corner. But they could move somebody.
I should say Tegan Atwell has been really active, but I could see them going with Cowboys player there, Alexios Papadopoulos. Um, I could see them going there too. There's a familiarity there between Kendrick and Cowboy, and the pick is in, and they're going strong safety. Taicho Blood is the pick. Taicho, I hope.
Tycho, I think. I think it's supposed to be Tycho.
And you should spell it differently because CH is generally ch,
Eh.
at least as far as I remember. But either
Well,
way,
it's like school.
that's true.
That's a CH, so it's like
Yes,
Tycho.
I guess. Anyway, we'll
Like
say it
he's
your
going to
way. It
take you
sounds
to
better.
school.
So Tycho Blood, strong safety out of Louisiana State, 6'2", 220 pounds. This is a really talented strong safety. This is a good pick, actually. Insight Hysteria has been a very active member since we started up here. He's part of
He's
the
been like
media crew.
sneaky active.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
been
he's
part of the
been
media crew,
sneaky active.
and I love his archetype. It's a run support, and I think that's going to be an interesting build that maybe not a lot of guys are going to. He also did not go to university, so he's not really the smartest tool in the shed, but he's put all his focus in football. So this should be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be a very like Tyrann Mathieu kind of character player, from Arizona.
Yeah, so I am hearing I do have the trade. For the most part, it seems like it has been announced, at least given to me. I will get to it after this pick with Seattle. And yeah, so this will be definitely a bit interesting.
Our inside sources have confirmed.
Yeah, this is definitely a bit interesting based on what I am reading. But with that being said, we will let that play out. So who do you think Seattle's going with?
They might want to. I know they've been pushing a little bit on the defense. They might want to finish up that secondary with a safety.
Yeah, and here we go. Outside linebacker Daniel Shaw,
Oh,
out in
I was
Notre
wrong.
Dame. 6'3", 240 pounds. This is Green's player.
Green's player. There was what I was looking for earlier. Yeah.
A real solid pick. But I will say I don't want to get people too revved up here, but I am hearing he might not necessarily stay in Seattle.
Ooh, oh,
If the rumor is true.
so they're going to do the pick and then the trade.
Yeah, that could be. It seems to be the case that there will be a trade announced here, and yes, I am getting the absolute confirmation now. The Seattle Predators will be trading Daniel Shaw along with a season 2 second round pick.
Wow.
To Miami for Tyler Barabash.
Wow. Oh, I guess it's not you and Bash on the team.
So yeah, this will be interesting because I said before I didn't think Smitty and Bash would be a likely combo. But with that being said, he clearly valued him here, and I like this trade
to
a
give up
lot
a
for Seattle.
season 2 pick.
Yeah, I mean, and the season 2 is going to be an interesting thing because there is a lot of guys who have been creating. So I'm curious to see how that'll go. As for Royal Clark, who I believe is LeVar Ball, nothing against having you come in, but the picks kind of come in really fast, so it's a bit difficult at the moment to have guests just with how fast the picks are coming in at the moment. Nothing against you, certainly, although I will say Big Baller Brand sucks dicks. But, you know.
You're doing so good on your language, too, but I guess Big Baller Brand just makes you swear.
Yeah, no, he knows I'm playing around with them. Miami Neptune are on the clock after making this trade here where, it's tough. I'm a little torn on this just as a personal opinion because I like Green a lot, but I really don't know how active Green plans on being in this league.
I mean, Green's been really good in the media crew, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, no, he can be. It's just a matter of I didn't know how interested he would be. Originally, he was talking to me about just being a welfare guy. So, I obviously that might have changed. But with that being said, I think Bash is going to be a 12-a-week kind of guy. So, tough one. This will be one I think will be interesting, depending on how active the season 2 draft is.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big choice of how good is that. Was the second round pick you said of season 2?
Yeah, so it'll be in the first 12. As long as they have 12 good draftees, this could work out real nice for Miami, but there's certainly no guarantee of that.
And before people get concerned about you saying a 12-week player, we don't play 16 weeks for anybody who's new. We only play 12.
Yeah. I don't know what you just said.
You said he's going to be a 12-week player, and if somebody's new and thinks we play 16 weeks.
There need to be 12. They need 12 active players.
Gotcha.
To be to make that a worthwhile pick.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Next pick in Miami, taking another tight end. Here we go. So here's the second tight end, I believe, off the board in this draft, and that is Commander Warsmoke.
Yes, Commander Warsmoke.
Yeah, and Commander Warsmoke, of course, is the other player of Uzi. Surprised, honestly, it took this long. What do you think?
Like I said, I was surprised he didn't go even before all the GM picks, and he made it an extra round after that. It's really surprising. I thought tight ends were going to go a lot faster because there is a pretty big cliff once you hit the one spot on the tight ends, but it's a good pick.
Yeah, for sure. And this is to me a good pick as well. As like I said before with his other player, as long as his head's in the game, he can be a really tremendous player. And I know I'm excited to have him on the team. And I think he'll be excited to be on the same team as well. So we got Los Angeles up next. At this point, it's kind of hard to predict where teams are going to be looking position-wise. Do you kind of think the focus switches a bit more the best player available?
I think LA has to finish up what they're trying to do on offense here, which, based on the fact that they've gone fullback and running back here, I think they might grab a blocking tight end, and then they're just going to go best player on the board.
Or do you think they go Bushido here?
They could move Bushido, but the problem is I don't know if that's their best choice style-wise, because I still don't think they have a quarterback.
There's been some. Oh, yes, they certainly do. Do they not?
No.
Oh, no, you're right. They don't, actually.
So they might go quarterback here.
I, for whatever
But
reason, thought they had picked him
yeah,
already.
well,
You were correct.
yeah, you would think that they would, but they might have to go QB here. Unless they know somebody who's just not going to get
They got to
touched.
go on Ace Keenum, them, right? Ace Keenum
Ace Keenum, yeah.
guy. Unless they go boss. I mean, that's certainly a possibility too.
Or Alistair.
Oh, here we go. So they didn't go with a quarterback. The
Oh.
LA Reign have selected LeVar Ball.
Oh.
Of course, he wanted to play in LA.
He got his wish.
And I know, this will be good. You know what? I will, before we get into this pick too much here, LeVar Ball, I'd like to congratulate you on being drafted. With that being said, you are definitely going to be the hands down biggest bust in this draft. So, Pajogcast Media is clearly superior to Triple B, Big Baller brand, and I'm looking forward to wiping the gridiron with you, both as the opposing running back and as the guy who's going to be knocking balls out of your hands, which sounds really gay as I said that.
At least it's not out of his mouth.
What do you think of this pick? In all honesty, LeVar Ball has really earned this pick. He's been very active. And it's pretty hard to ignore him at this point.
I think this spells a change of position for Alton Taylor. I think he's going to end up going QB or wide receiver.
Yeah, QB would be disappointing. There's some guys who I like available who would be losing.
That's why I think wide receiver is a very strong choice of where
I think that's likely where they go there. I think they go receiver as well, or at least maybe a different position, maybe tight end. Shaka had mentioned to me previously he wanted to go where people aren't necessarily loaded up on.
Could they be building a team around LeVar Ball? Full defense, fullback, LeVar Ball, and Shaka as a blocking tight end.
Yeah.
Could we be in for the LeVar Ball show?
Man, we might be.
Which also sounds a little gay.
LeVar Ball's he's interesting. I you know what though, as much as I shit talk him, as I've said to a few different people. Oh, interesting. I didn't know this. I'm getting actually some word here from Moholt saying GM players are locked in.
Oh, okay.
So only dual threat quarterbacks could play receiver. So that means actually
that are GMs, right? Okay. So maybe LeVar's Ball's switching, or they just do a running back by committee.
One could play fullback, right? Or
they already drafted fullback.
They
drafted a fullback.
Right,
they drafted Bobby Collins.
They could go committee here. This sim does handle committee running backs pretty well, I will say.
See, they could do it. Could be the Taylor Ball show.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Interesting though. I would have thought Ball would want to probably
go somewhere he'd get all the.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a focal point. See, Mohole giving us info to ruin all of our ideas.
So the New York Herd are next, and they have selected the first female, and potentially the only female. I haven't actually looked over the whole list.
She is the only female.
Tegan Atwell, quarterback out of Notre Dame, 5'8", 170 pounds.
She ain't tackling anybody.
Yeah, so this is I forget who is Jiggly's guy, right?
It's Jiggly.
Girl,
yeah,
I guess.
Girl.
Yeah,
player.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
so,
well, congratulations, Tegan Atwell, to be the first professional football player. Yeah, that's female.
Very fast defensive back, and the one thing I wonder is I know weight does play a bit of a role in the sim. So I wonder if that's going to hurt her at all. But with that being said, when she is so quick, that could really help her as well in terms of being a solid cover cornerback, someone who can just stick to the man she's guarding and take him out of the play. So what do you think of this pick?
Atwell Island is coming to New York, apparently. It's going to be – it's me and Atwell.
Yeah.
That's going to be a nice little combo. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting lineup. Jiggly's been pretty active, so I'm glad I'm not going to have to – I'm glad I'm not going to be in a Asumagua kind of situation where no one throws to me, but I actually suck. So it's going to be interesting in New York. I think we're going to shut down a lot of quarterbacks.
Will be
because we also have, because it'll be Bengals player as a safety, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's going to be a solid secondary.
Speaking of fullbacks, as we mentioned fullbacks previously, to talking about Atwell there, Chance Tubbs goes off the board here to New York. I believe that is Everyday's player. I really like this
Every day.
pick. He is going,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, he's going full blocking, which is a really handy guy to have in your offense there.
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty, but speaking of every day, did Ivan Zamora go yet?
Yes, Zamora went 15th
Yes,
overall.
okay. Went 15th. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say he snuck in there. I was gonna say how the hell has he not gotten picked? Yeah, Chance Tubbs is a good pick. He's gonna be a solid he's gonna be that glue that it's not gonna be flashy, it's not gonna be pretty, but he's gonna put that team together.
Yeah, and as we wait for the 50th overall pick here, which is, of course, Los Angeles, I'd like to read out some of the comments to you, Duckberg, get your reaction. The Jawcast Media says, Flamingo to sleep with his teammate, E5. Obviously, speaking about Atwell.
Probably. Flamingo is a learned Christian. He will not be sleeping with his teammates.
That's very good. And none of the other comments are all that important. I will mention one here, though, which was Steve Erickson saying, LOL at all these noobs who don't know how good committees in Sim. Indeed, as stated, committee running back can work very well. I haven't seen it a lot. Obviously, those in the NSFL know how well it can work, but it doesn't always. I have tried it with myself with my own little runs occasionally just because I heard about that too, and it wasn't quite as effective. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets utilized by Shaka, but I knew that I believe it was his team actually in the NSFL who actually ran it. So, and ran it well too, for that matter. Next pick, tight end, Tommy Gunn.
Tommy Gunn.
USC tight end who really kind of got a little overlooked, I thought, personally. I don't know what you think.
Wally's has done his work, but he hasn't really been all that active on the board, and I think that hurt his draft stock a little bit. I don't think he's reached out and opened up and shown that he's going to be around as much as he could have, which hurt his draft stock. Not that he doesn't deserve to be drafted where he was. He probably deserved a couple spots higher, but I think his lack of opening up to other people and opportunities to be active outside of the work and the TPE hurt his stock a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the thing with him though is I will say that sometimes those quiet guys can really be big time impactful players. And the thing with Wally too is he does have a job as an updater, so it'll be interesting to see his impact. Maybe he's just one of those quiet guys, right? So Miami's pick is quickly in. This one didn't take much time at all. Keyshawn Cousins from Maryland, the free safety.
Free safety.
What do you think of this pick?
Jogging. I know he almost missed doing his mock draft. But
yeah, this is Joggin's player. Yep.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. I believe he's one of the athletic directors in the NCAA, so he's got a job, which means Shaka at least has a lot of faith in him to stay active because he's putting the fate of the future of the league in his hands. So it should be a good pick.
Yeah, he put a real solid presentation to me for why I should join his school. I didn't end up going with them, but I was impressed actually quite a bit. Cousins has yet to actually use his TPE, but obviously that will take place after the draft. He does have, at this point, all 66 TPE he's earned banked. At least that is what is updated. So I am excited to see what direction he goes, and I'm thrilled to have him on Miami, as I do have, of course, one of my players on the team.
Yeah, so what do you think about this personally? What do you think about the pick since he's on your team?
Based on what I don't know much about him, but his presentation, as I said to me in PM, was very solid. And it made me think, he's not just a good member, but someone who is invested in the league. And I think that's maybe what Weedy sees here with that pick.
Cool. And he must have been confident because you said it came in really quick.
Yeah, I mean, it did. And I think, when you see a guy on there who is an athletic director, you know they're going to be invested. By the way, I just cannot believe Bushido still has a player unavailable. Do they go with him here? Like, I mean,
It has to be.
realistically, Seattle has already got one of his players. It wouldn't hurt
Yeah.
to double up.
I think part of the problem is I don't know, like how wide receiver's been pretty much covered, which Bushido should have been taken already, but some of the guys that got taken above him might have hurt his stock even more because somebody might just wait on him at this point.
How long do you really want to wait, though? I mean, this is a position you can have three,
Yeah.
guys starting really and having impacts. Now, not saying they'll necessarily go with him here. Obviously, they did take Hood the third a couple picks ago. But with that being said, I believe he is their only receiver, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, you also have Auto Rocket available.
It's nothing against Rocket, but I have a hard time putting him ahead of Stropko here. I just think there's too much
Stropko's
talent.
a name with history. Like for Bash to use that Brady Stropko name.
That's a big.
You know, he's putting everything into it.
I mean, he uses that in about every league now, but yeah.
Oh, does he? Okay. I've only seen it twice, and both times with like epic players, and they were football leagues. So.
And the picks in the Predators going way away from what we were thinking. Strong safety here, Hands mixed safety.
Okay, that's.
I believe.
It's Dollar in a Dream.
Yeah. So
that's okay. That's not a bad pick.
I like Dollar.
Yeah, they're
the VHL guy.
Yeah.
And he is someone I am a big fan of personally.
I guess you're trying to shore up that defense a little bit.
I didn't know how active he's honestly going to be in this league, but he's been pretty good so far. So I'm curious to see how that pick will work out. I love the name though; it's great.
Yeah, that's a perfect name.
Anyone you're surprised not gone? I mentioned Bash. Obviously, we've talked about Playmaker.
Just looking at my list here.
Obviously, we will continue to talk here. On the clock, the 53rd overall pick.
Yeah.
They will not be taking Bash. I can pretty much guarantee you that one. And they also already have a couple receiving options. So I'll be curious to see where they go. I think they might go DB here, though. There's a couple really good ones I've mentioned before previously with their other pick. Cowboys, definitely a possibility. And we will see. We will see about that one as I get to.
This is our first waiting pick.
Yep, I got a mention here from our coordinator that the pick is in. And holy crap, I did not expect this at all. Brady Stropko.
There it is.
So I don't know if he's sticking on that team, though. Bash
Is it going to be another trade involving Bash?
They do not like each other.
So you think it's going to be another trade involving Bushido?
Yeah, I got to think. That's that one's surprising. I know a lot of people are going to say I'm really wrong about that one, but honestly, I don't think anyone that knows those two would expect that. They do not get along at all. But hey, Brady Stropko, good pick.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they reached out.
I doubt he stays there, honestly.
I mean, I don't know if Bushido's. I mean, maybe Bushido said, "Yeah, like he's got another player, so maybe he's willing to keep one guy with him because he's got the other player that isn't with him."
I still no, trust me, they really hate each other.
Got it.
I would be. This is like
he drafted him to bench him.
It would be like me drafting the Walls from DFL.
God. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense now.
This is surprise. This would be like you drafting Pun.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I don't think he stays there, but regardless, it's about time he comes off the board. Nevertheless. I think I actually had him pegged for one of these next two picks, the San Antonio's.
I thought if he was going to get there, I thought New York would have to grab him if he got there.
Yeah, I mean
they still don't have a wide receiver.
That's true. I kind of wonder.
I mean, Bengals might move. Well, Bengals can't move. We got to remember that now. We talked about this. Bengals can't move, so maybe Evander Wayne might be moving there, but
assuming they are instituting the switches, yeah, I would
Right.
assume Evander Wayne might be moving. Um,
Mhm. Well, is
yeah,
Evander Wayne a dual threat? That's the one thing I don't have is his archetype.
I believe he is a dual threat.
So
Yes,
he could move even if they don't.
I could be wrong with that. I should
He
probably
could play
check
wide
that.
receiver. Yeah, he could if he
He
is a dual
is
threat.
totally not a dual threat. He's
Uh,
a field general. So,
ah,
interesting enough, Cowboy mentions Walls was actually looking to possibly starting a league late last year. Huh.
oh God.
Yeah, I wonder what he would have done if I joined.
I would have joined, I convinced him
Oh,
to make me an admin, and then ban him from his own league.
there you go. The next pick's in. Here we go. The Wolfpack have selected cornerback out of Aristotle University. You
You
want to
say
take
it,
this one? You
I'll
want me to
take
do
it.
it?
I'll do
I'll
it.
do it. I can do it. I know how to actually say it. So
Is it Alexios Papadopoulos?
close. Yeah, I mean, kind of. You put this weird little accents. Alexios Papadopoulos.
Papadopoulos. I
Papadopoulos.
put the stress on the wrong thing. Okay,
Yeah.
Papadopoulos.
So
Okay, like
Papadopoulos
Indianapolis.
out of Aristotle
Got it.
University, 5'11", 182 pounds. Another kind of lighter cornerback.
Is he
Um,
lighter than Deacon Atwell?
no, Atwell was 170,
No,
but a
Atwell's
lot of
170.
them
Yeah,
are in the 190s to 200.
yeah, because that
Um,
was like the top end of what you could do.
yeah, what a great graphic that is, by the way. Props to, I believe, Solus and Moholt. I'm sorry if I
It was
missed
Solus
anyone
and
there.
Moholt.
I
It was
think it was just
Solus
those two, maybe Kendrick. I don't remember.
who
Um,
did all the images.
yeah, props to those guys for doing all the images. I believe they have one for every single player being drafted tonight, which
We do.
is
Yeah, I'm
unreal.
pretty sure. Yeah, it was Moholt, Apache,
Oh,
and Solus.
Moholt makes a good point here. Chase Alexander is a dual threat, which means he can still switch to receiver, I believe.
Oh, okay. So that's what we missed. Okay, so he could be switching to wide receiver.
Yeah, I wish we had Bengals on because we could have probably confirmed that real quick with him, but he never really
Hmm.
mentioned it. Of course,
He was keeping on the inside.
yeah.
But
So,
he was, I mean, he did mention it quite a few times in the podcast, so he might have already had that idea in mind.
so it wasn't Kendrick. He doesn't want to take credit for those for the
Yeah.
pictures, but I noticed he was talking about it. So I in the Discord, so I thought it might have been him too. But yeah,
Hmm.
so it was I believe Solus and Mohol. So props to those two
Hmm.
for and props to everyone really, not just
Hmm.
the guys putting on these podcasts and the presentation aspects, but also there's been a pretty great chat going on right now. So props to
Hmm.
everyone. Give yourselves a pat on the back. It's been a great draft. One of the best I've probably ever actually is the best I've probably
Oh yeah,
seen
hands down. This
in
is
presenting purposes.
yeah. When have we ever had like a live TV show and podcast for an inaugural draft? Like never. Like the biggest thing we used to do was add pictures for stuff, and now we have custom made pictures for every player, a live feed, and a podcast. Hands down, the best one I've ever seen.
Yep, I know I'm hearing a trade uh, might be coming to fruition here.
Is it involving Bash?
I have to assume, but it might not be. I mean, that could happen anytime, right? So I'm curious to see if it will. I'm hoping. I'm kind of hoping because I really don't want to see those two bicker. To be
Well,
honest with
wait, are
you,
you on that team?
no.
Then you won't have to deal with it. They'll keep it in the locker room, I hope.
Still, I want everyone to be happy though, right?
Oh
I
yeah, I
mean,
know. I think
plus
that's
maybe
one of the good things of having two players, though, is even if one team you're just not like gelling with, obviously you shouldn't quit on them, but you have that other player to keep you motivated to keep going.
and I believe it is posted and it does not involve a current player, if I'm not mistaken. I
Future
believe,
picks.
yeah, I believe the trade itself is between Seattle, who is now involved in their second trade, and San Antonio. Seattle trades the 57th, 64th, and 76th overall picks to San Antonio for the 55th, 66th, and 78th pick. So Seattle moves up 2 slots and moves back 2 slots in the 11th and 13th round. Who do you think they got in mind here?
God, they must have really wanted to grab somebody. Hmm. Or either Seattle was willing to drop. I have no idea. Who would you? bumped yourself a few spots to grab in this situation.
Yeah, I'm
I
kind of
honestly,
wondering, like, there's obviously someone he's definitely, I mean, to make a trade like that, unless he's just trying to, granted, it is Smitty, trying to just get
mhm.
some trades done.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I have to wonder, where is he going with this? Like, there has to obviously be an end game that he must have been worried would
Hmm.
potentially be taking the next couple picks. So I am curious to see who goes here. I don't really have a guy that maybe Smitty looks a playmaker. He's one of the few GMs who actually knows playmaker fairly well.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have to trade to get that pick because
You wouldn't think so.
like everyone I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's this, and I'm looking, I'm like, nope, they're already drafted. Like, I don't know who do you make that trade? They're going for Jericho.
You seriously think so?
No.
No. Oh, here we go. Quarterback Ace Keenum.
Oh,
So this is the second quarterback Seattle has
second
taken. They took previously Trey Masters at 21st overall, and now they select Keenum, which is a Pachi Chiefs player, someone who I thought was potentially going to be probably the biggest competition for Leo and Hazard
mm-hmm.
in terms of a starting QB spot.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this pick?
I like it. Is this now two teams that have two QBs before LA has picked one?
I think so. Yeah,
So I don't know. I mean, at this point, LA can just wait and I guess grab Alistair. He's
I
the
gotta
only one
think someone's
really,
switching, right? I mean,
if
Ray
it's allowed.
Cobain's there,
Yeah, Ray Cobain, but I
Chris
mean, the only one
Klein,
with.
retired actor.
Hmm.
Seth Robin, which is Playmaker's guy.
Oh,
Uh,
I don't know about Shaka's history of playmaker. If you would know, like how
he
good of
would
a
know, I
player
think,
he
who he
could.
is. Interesting
Right.
enough, though, both quarterbacks they have drafted are both field generals, so neither are
Neither
dual
of them
threat
have to
guys.
switch.
So I'm
Right.
curious to see how that
Legally at
plays out.
least.
But regardless, Memphis is up next. And then we will have the pick from San Antonio after that, which they did trade for. So I'll be curious to see. I'm curious though. Are you surprised they went with that trade, given that they trade up for a quarterback when both teams that they leap in front of have quarterbacks?
It's confusing unless they were afraid that somebody had the same idea as they were and were going to grab a second guy before them.
Like I have to think that was the case for sure.
Hmm.
Of course, they don't have the draft list completely updated, which kind of sucks
Yeah.
for us. I should be writing these down as of now.
That's what I've been trying to do. That's what I was doing during the break, and probably why people thought I was um, distracted in the beginning of the stream because I was trying to make my own draft list because they weren't updating it. But
Yeah, for sure. And I will say, LeVar Ball writes in, "Why do you need a quarterback with that backfield?" And perhaps he's right, but I think you do want a good
just,
quarterback.
I guess you could just run both guys at running back, and one of them just takes the handoff, the snap, and then either runs it or hands it off. I guess
Yeah,
that's
and
I don't
I'll
think
be.
that's legal.
Yeah, they'll just have the running backs throwing the ball the whole time. So all one
Hmm.
of them has to do is start adding to arm and accuracy, and they're good. The next pick is
Technically, I
Memphis.
don't think running backs have a max stat in arm.
No, and you can make an incredible. LeVar Ball is just going to be like a 99 arm, and he's going to just win
Playing at
every
running back.
award.
They're gonna just play Wildcat every snap. That's actually genius.
We're still waiting on the
Okay, do we
Memphis
have
pick
any?
here,
Yeah, Memphis pick. They got to be done on their time.
and they are Demetrius Williams, cornerback out of Clemson,
Williams.
is going to the Bandits. Of course, Demetrius Williams is I believe it is
Megatron.
Megatron, right? And
Yep.
I know who Megatron is.
So do I. He's an older guy. He actually, when he came in, and I like commented on
By
his.
older, what do you mean by older?
Like he's been around a little while.
Okay, I was gonna say the guy himself's not that old.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean he's been around a while.
Um, who'd you get kind of confirmation from that from?
I'm
Because I
sorry
know he's trying not to tell people, from what I heard.
that he was Megatron.
Yeah.
He's on there as Megatron. Like that's his username.
It's not who you think it is, then I think.
Oh, then I probably don't know it isn't who I think it is then.
I will not mention it on air, although
Hmm.
I do believe it will be announced sooner rather than later. So I will type it in this chat here.
Hmm.
And we should react as if we don't know who that
Oh,
is. But yeah,
gotcha.
so
Um, I am actually going to take a quick bathroom break if you can cover for a couple minutes.
I certainly can. So
Thank
we
you. I'll be
will
right back.
continue on the draft. The show moves on. As Shaka messages me, what up, Shock? Only one quarterback can move per team. Yeah, I know that. So you just get a confirmation of the rules. Only one quarterback can move per team. Otherwise, only dual threats can play out of position. And yeah, and this is definitely yeah, exactly. Yep. So Mohold, yeah, okay. As I am not even really explaining what's being said, other than the fact that there is some movement that'll be done, obviously, with quarterbacks. It's still kind of a process that hasn't really been too revealed, from what I understand. So there's still a little bit of confusion going on here, unless you were probably the GMs. I would say are the only ones who really know, and no other players can switch. So interesting enough. This will be. I'm kind of curious who goes here, because this is the course the pick that Seattle moved to move up. So I'm curious. Maybe the Wolfpack had a guy in mind that they thought would slip. Maybe they had a couple guys in mind. I'll be curious to see where they go here. And yeah, so this will be interesting. Thanks once again to everyone who's been such a big part of this. Moholt, Shaka, Bengals, Duckberg, Solus, who did a lot of the graphics. Everyone in the chat has been awesome. Picks in Tempest Bridges, running back out of Houston, 6'2", 230 pounds. He's a big guy. This guy's a big boy here. And I think this is a really solid pick. Tempest is Jay Beerley's player. His other player already went, and he's been very active. He is a workhorse, so he is fast and he is strong. He is going to be a threat, I think, for a lot of defenses who are maybe going to have a bit of a hard time handling his size, his strength, and also his speed, which is still pretty solid. He actually is, at the moment, faster than first overall pick Marcus Johnson, strictly in terms of the standard basic attribute. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of impact he could have. His big flaw is likely his ability to attack holes, which is a big thing at times for a workhorse. You don't want to get banged up too much, of course. Tempest Bridges going at 57th overall. Of course, Miami up next with the 58th pick. They are on the clock at the moment. Still some guys who I'm a little surprised to see not gone. I'm curious to see how long Playmakers players last. You still got Jericho's guys who, he has done a fair amount in this league, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him go soon, even without a job. Of course, he is 1/3 of Pajawcast Media, which, of course, is our sponsor, Pajawcast Media. You guys should check it out. Lots of good channels. Got some Overwatch, got some Hitman. We got a lot more of the Big Baller brand, that's for sure. But in all seriousness, I'm a part of that. So is Devise and Jericho. Feel free to check us out. Our thread is in the entertainment discussion on the forum, and the pick is in. Moholt has put down the pick. It is Sigwart Bjornsson, the wide receiver out of Wisconsin. Pretty short one, 5'9", 185 pounds. The Neptune go with the receiver. Bjornsson is Joe Gerta's. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing either of those names wrong. Is Joe Gerta's player, who is a part of the media crew. He's a deep threat, pretty much all speed and good hands. He will be a solid addition for the Neptune. I think there's a lot of people who definitely seem to really like him as a graphics maker. So I haven't personally seen this member necessarily too much, but I'm excited to see based on what people have been talking about him. I've seen a few people talk about him actually. So I'm excited to see him in action as I am a member of the Neptune. We are now looking to the LA Reign here as they own the next pick on the clock at 59th overall. There's still a quarterback potential there. There also could be a few other positions I could see them attacking here. As we still wait, of course, for those who maybe haven't been following for the last few minutes, Duckberg is also on here too. He is just at the moment using the little boy's room. So, and as we wait this pick, I will quickly go over the first 10 picks in this draft. First overall pick, if you missed it earlier, Marcus Johnson going to New York. Second overall pick was Vontae Peterson Jr. going to LA. The third pick was Miami taking Freedom Montgomery. The fourth pick was Seattle taking Lars Erickson. The fifth pick in the draft was Memphis taking Curtis Drake. The sixth pick in the draft was Dion Primetime Grimes out of San Antonio. The seventh pick was Jalen Adams going to San Antonio. The eighth pick was Marcus Bryant, the free safety, going to Memphis. And the ninth and 10th picks, respectively, as I look for them on my sheet, and they're right in front of me, Ricky Julian Bubbles going to Seattle and Max Thunder going to Miami. And now as I check to see if the pick is in, as I have to assume it is, let's make sure my hangouts are still going here. People can still hear me. Yep, good. I have my laptop screen there. Went black for a second, so I just wanted to make sure we were still live and running. The pick is in. The Reign select Michael Taylor, strong safety out of Central Florida. 6'2", 210-pound strong safety. This is an interesting pick. One that I didn't necessarily have as expected. In fact, as I look for him here, I believe Taylor is listed as a cornerback. No, sorry, that's a different Taylor. Sorry, listed as a strong safety. There he is. Oh, I was looking at the nickname there. Michael Meest Taylor, Emidus player. Of course, Emidus, for those who are familiar, he's a bit of a sim league vet, especially in football leagues. So, Shaka going with someone who has a bit of a history in these leagues and, of course, is also in SBA as well. New York Herd are now on the clock as we continue on here into the last pick of the 10th round, the 60th overall pick. New York, of course, will have back-to-back picks here. As I check my PMs, as I have been sent a PM, and I'm curious who is, Jagruta is a she, apparently. So my apologies if that is true. Certainly no offense intended. Just usually the general assumption with these drafts is, for the most part, they are, it's almost a unfortunate generalization here. And here we go. So back-to-back picks and back-to-back for Emidus as well. As Emidus Blair, the wide receiver out of Central Florida, goes at 60th overall. I'm a bit surprised that it took this long for him to go. And I just mean in general his players, because I know how strong of a player he can make. With that being said, I think there might be some concerns about how active he plans on being in the league. This may be an example of someone mainly getting picked due to their name, which would explain the fall a little bit. And, I'm curious to see, if he ends up being anything more than just a name. Maybe he ends up being a really a solid player. As I lost my stream link here. So I'm going to try to get that back up so I can read the chat here. Here we go. Duckberg's still gone. That's a very interesting thing. So I get back my link here. Emmetis Blair took welfare. Okay, yeah, and that was my wondering, was whether or not he was going to be all that active here. As my other computer freezes, I will continue talking here. For those who are familiar with Podcast Media, you will know this is not exactly uncommon. I do have, of course, a laptop set up as well, so I can still check the picks there in the meantime. No, that's okay. I just responding here to member Jericho, who messaged me if you wanted some help hosting it. It's okay, at least for the meantime, until Nick gets back. I'm not too concerned about it. I think everyone prefers my voice over his anyway, so no big deal. So the other pick from the New York Herd, Will Turner the fourth, the kicker. So this is the first kicker off the board from Miami. This is I was actually just about to say to him, I'm a little annoyed because I was actually going to say, I was going to ask the chat, when do you think the first kicker is going to go here? And sure enough, as I'm about to say it, the first kicker gets taken off the board, and that is Turner. So Turner the fourth is Turner, of course. This is the user Turner, his other player. And I think this is a solid pick. I think people may be a bit sleeping on those kickers right now. There's a couple really good ones, and there's a couple I'm not too sure about. So we will see how this pick turns out. But I actually really like this pick for New York. You get that kicker, you might have very well the best kicker in the league, and that can give you an advantage. Pardon the pun at times. Just looking through the chat here. Siphon Gaming saying Shaka will grab me with the pity pick. Boss saying that Boss is going to hold out for the max deal. Wow. Podcast Media asking, when do you think the first punter goes? I believe the only punter in this draft is Doomfoot. I think he's going to go pretty late. Just my guess. I think maybe looking the last couple rounds. Siphon Gaming says he hopes he goes undrafted so he can uncap his running back. And yeah, LeVar Ball with me on the great pick. Also saying kickers are being underrated. Solid, great pick. 3 points better than none. Agreed. I think as much as I don't like agreeing with you, because Podcast Media, number one, once again, check out Podcast Media on the website and check out our YouTube, like and subscribe, check our Facebook channel. But I agree, kickers, definitely a bit underrated so far. I think we might have been waiting for that first one to fall, though. That is my guess. Still waiting on the next pick here after the Herd made their selection. Draft slowing down a little bit. I'm curious to see what'll be coming here. And it looks like we do have a trade potentially here. Seattle being rumored to be involved again. So this will be the third trade they've been a part of if this does end up happening. So that is why, of course, the delay here. And yes, here it is official. Seattle trades. Wow, here we go. This is a big one. Seattle trades Trey Masters and the 13th round pick, 78th overall, to Los Angeles for the 62nd and 74th overall picks. Wow. I have to say, I'm a little stunned to see the 21st overall pick go in this trade. Is a bit surprising. So really, you trade 21st overall and 78th overall for 62nd and 74. So you move up 4 picks in the 13th round to move. I mean, it's kind of not really the same, but 41 picks back in a way. It's not really the same thing, but Trey Masters, of course, one of the top TPE guys, and he gets traded for a pretty low value, in my opinion. I'm curious to see what the chat thinks. What is your verdict on this trade, guys? Since I don't have Nick here to run this by, I would like to get the chat's opinion on Trey Masters being traded for what, to me at least, seems like very little. And yeah, it does seem that there is an opinion here. And also, I believe Happy Goes Splat. There's been, I believe, 2 tight ends that have been taken. I believe Cleaner and War Smoke both have been taken. Yeah, I mean, I agree with LeVar here. Again, I hate to do it, but what a steal, he says. And by the way, LeVar, just so you are well aware, I think it's a pretty obvious, I'm not being very serious when I'm knocking you at all, and I believe that is the case for Pajogcast Media as well there. I think it's more just a few chirps. I wonder if he PM'd asking for a trade. It's really a tough call here. It just seems a little weird that it seems just a little weird that that's how little he would actually garner in a trade after you take him so high. And here we go. Seattle takes quarterback Mike Boss. This is weird. Let me tell you. You trade a quarterback because you already have one, and then you draft another quarterback. So I don't really know what to think here, other than maybe Hazard wasn't willing to back up or wasn't interested in splitting time, and maybe Boss is. Obviously, Boss's other player, I do believe, was drafted 16th overall to Seattle, which was Johnny Blaze. Very interesting pick. Maybe they just saw an option to gain an extra asset and get a guy with similar TPE. I mean, honestly, Boss TPE-wise should have went higher. But with that being said, it just still does seem like very little value for a guy who did go, in the 4th round in Masters. Still no reply from Nick as I await his return. No big deal. Just figuring out who could go next here as we await. LeVar Ball stating Seattle away. Could have taken a quality guy at 21 and still have Boss in your back pocket. I have to agree, and that's kind of where I'm thinking right now too. If you look at the guys who went after that, some of them include Jalil Judge, Evander Prince. There were some quality players that went after that. Obviously, any of the guys who went after the GM players too. Pretty good ones going. As Miami is on the clock. And as I believe their pick is in, and it is Jan Finkenlarken, the outside linebacker out of Rutgers. So he joins Max Thunder on that linebacking group. And that is a solid pick. As I will scroll down to Finkenlarken, which is Big Country's player. And we'll take a look here. He has earned some TP. He don't believe he has a job at the moment. But he's going to be a pass rushing outside linebacker, just like Thunder. So you got 2 pretty towering pass rushing outside linebackers, and that could be a solid combination going forward. Finkenlarken is a pretty mobile outside linebacker for his size, but his real strength is, pardon the pun, but strength. Strength is what he is known for. He is a tough, physical linebacker out of Rutgers, and that is a solid pick for Miami. I'll be curious. A lot of these picks you will hear me saying they're solid because honestly, there's not a lot of info about these guys. So it's really hard to garner, an opinion one way or another. I mean, hey, LeVar, you could probably make a tape on how Ball's going to improve because Seattle sucks. I don't know. You could probably just do something about that since you're all about the tapes. Although I kind of want to be on as many tapes as possible personally. So as we await the next pick, still some surprising names not taken for myself at least. I know, granted, a lot of people don't mind going this late because they see it as an opportunity to land on a better team. And here we go. I wish he was here for this because Duckberg's second player just was taken, and that is Robbie Rodden, tight end out of Superville University. 6'1", 227 pounds. I believe he is the third tight end off the board. Tight end being a position that really has not gone touched too much, I believe. Sorry, I believe it's actually the fourth. Or fifth, actually, since Big Country. This guy just went. So now we're starting to see a bit of a run on tight ends here. Of course, I'll mention when Duckberg gets back, his player did get taken here. But for those who are a little unfamiliar with Robbie Rodden, he is a vertical threat. He is a fairly tall, fairly strong-built tight end who's going to have some pretty good speed and I think some pretty decent hands as well. Going forward, he's got a lot of potential. And if he can keep it mentally, I think he could be a real solid pick for the San Antonio Wolfpack. Curious to see, it's one thing I've been kind of keeping an eye on with two players, how many guys are going to have both players on the same team. Some people like it, some people don't. And as we wait Memphis's next pick, I will say I will update again with some of these picks. The 11th overall pick was Quentin Harrison to the LA Reign. The 12th overall pick was another linebacker, Marcus Holloway, to the New York Herd. That's the Metrics player. The 13th overall pick was, of course, Evander Wayne Jr., also New York. The 14th overall pick was Sheriff Nash to the LA Reign. The 15th overall pick was Ivan Zamaro. And the 16th overall pick was Johnny Blaze. So we will continue running down some of the picks as we have some breaks. And yeah, I'm curious to see when do we get some more kickers? I want some more kickers off the board here. And the Memphis Bandits have now made their pick. Kurt Cronick, an outside linebacker, big 6'5", 260-pound linebacker here, goes next. He's got the long blonde hair, and he's ready to rumble against some opposing running backs and quarterbacks. So Cronick is the next off the board. I kind of wondered if he was the same guy who used to be in some old football leagues who went under the name Chronic, although it was spelled CH. So I don't know if it's the same guy. But, regardless, congrats to Kurt for being drafted. He's a very quick linebacker, so he could be a really effective pass rusher, I think, going forward. As we continue on here, the Seattle Predators are currently on the clock. As I continue to bring you solo coverage as Duckberg is away. And at this point, I might start to look a little bit towards bringing somebody in just to co-host until he gets back. The next off the board is Vestard's Mordzinch, who I know I did not pronounce that right, and I'm not going to pretend like I did. The strong safety going to Seattle. And he is a very talented player. I actually think Hedgehog, who's the member, is really underrated. He is a tremendous member in VHL, and he has shown already in this league he is willing to put the work in here as well. From Ohio State, Mordzinch is a pretty quick and strong safety who's going to be using these zone cover archetypes. So I think he could be a really effective player if he continues to show as much promise as he has so far in the league. Still waiting on Nick here. Surprised I have not gone or even a message from him, honestly. But we will see. I know there are a couple of people who are interested in co-hosting. I might bring on a certain familiar person with me in a sec. As much as I would like to bring in somebody else, I'm kind of more looking for an actual co-host, not someone who's just going to talk about, interview on terms of, what do you think of you going somewhere else? So, but yeah, so we will continue to wait on Nick at the moment, and then if he doesn't come soon, I will probably pull the trigger and bring somebody in here. But in the meantime, we will get to the Wolfpack's next pick, which is Jeppy Jipperson, an inside linebacker from Miami, 6'2", 240. Jipperson is a guy who I kind of had pegged going a little earlier, to be honest with you. It's Rhodes' guy. I thought with his familiarity with some in SBA, he might get to go a little bit higher, although he has not necessarily shown off a ton of activity thus far. So perhaps that is why. In fact, his college is somewhere, according to his player page. I know we have it listed as Miami, so we obviously got confirmation there, but I had to take a little shot there. And yeah, I think I'm going to pull the trigger and bring someone in here. I think if I'm going to maybe get somebody in for at least a little bit. And then if he's still not back by then, I might switch out a co-host here. So let me just pop in here and grab the link. So apologies once again for all this. You know, the first 6 rounds at least ran somewhat smoothly. I think we can say that. And I'm going to send this. I almost just sent it to the entire YouTube chat, so that would have been a disaster. So then I'd have like 10 people in here. But I'm actually going to send this to my good friend here. I'm just going to send it here. And we're going to get Jericho in here. Jericho, of course, for those who don't know, is another member of Pajodcast Media. And he is someone I'm familiar with co-hosting with on a lot of different things. And welcome, Jericho, to the EFL, to the EFL's draft.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so your player, I believe both your players have not been taken yet.
That is correct.
Yeah, so what do you think about that?
So I haven't, without having the updated list in front of me, it's been difficult to kind of keep in mind what each team has positionally. I'm not super surprised because wide receiver is the position that you can probably sit on the most because you can get 3, you're going to have the most of them per thing. 1, you can get quarterbacks and switch them. 2, you can get up to 3 of them. So it's not as important to grab like the number 1 guy right off the bat. If you can get the number 5, 6, and 7 guy on your team, it's better than having like 1, 20, and 21 kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not super surprised. I'm very surprised that my other player hasn't gone though, because he's the undisputed best player in his position.
He's definitely the best punter in this league.
Yeah, nobody can make the argument against Doomfoot being the best punter in the league. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, and the Memphis Bandits' next pick has come in, Vestards Mordzinch Jr., which is Hedgehog's other player, the fullback out of San Jose State.
We're actually even 1 pick past that.
Oh, I know, but I have to still announce it.
Oh, absolutely.
You went on your little tangent there, so.
You're right. That's on me.
Yeah, so, and then Seattle, of course, following that up with a kicker, Frank Kitherin. So there's the second kicker off the board.
Yeah. He's sure going to
Hedgehog. We'll go back to Hedgehog here because you know Hedgehog fairly well from VHL.
I do. I think he is I think he's a fantastic member. I don't know about his history with any league outside of the Victory Hockey League, but he's good there. Very well liked, solid activity. Not necessarily the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's definitely not looking kind of dumb with his finger and his thumb and a shave of fennel on his forehead. That's something we can absolutely be sure of.
This is true. Yeah, I was going to say, I believe Evans is correct. Kickers can play punter, and I think, Kyle, you did know that. I think I did mention that to you, and you were like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I did know that, but I was doing my own thing.
Position.
Yeah, but I believe that the difference being that kickers are considered a offensive position and punters are supposed to be considered defensive. Is that correct?
Yes. So I believe you could technically play as kicker, despite the fact you create as a punter. I could be wrong about that. Maybe someone might have to confirm that with me.
Well,
maybe
I imagine that most of the kickers are going to have to play punter as well, because except for whatever team takes Doomfoot, they're not going to be able to have a punter otherwise.
Yeah, because that's kind of an interesting thing where you can kind of play as both.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that seems fair.
No. Also, next pick is in, Chris.
I know. Miami Neptune picking Scott Kibbe. So Kibbe had to wait a while for his second player to go here. I believe this is This is Kibbe is Stringer, right? If I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
Okay, I was gonna say. I thought so. So yeah, Stringer went 22nd overall. He had to wait quite a while for his next player to be taken, and finally, he is taken here by the Neptune. Why do you think he had to wait so while?
Because a lot of cornerbacks had already been taken earlier in the draft.
It seems like a position though when you do have multiple.
Yeah, cornerback is the wide receiver of defense, of course, where the same rules apply.
Yeah, so it seems a little surprising to me they had to wait that long.
That's some fucking solid analysis there. Cornerbacks are the wide receivers of defense. Kyle Snow, 2017.
You are not an admitted football knowledge guy.
No, that is correct.
I will mention, because I know some people are posting in the chat, I will probably get LeVar in here at some point. I'll probably have Kyle leave at that point.
Yeah,
as much as it would be an enjoyable thing.
He can be my sloppy seconds, let's be honest.
Obviously, Pajodcast Media, member 2 here. Both 2 of our members are in this call here.
Yes.
Kyle and I being
the LA Reign, I almost said Rigger Reign. The LA Reign have also made their next selection, Chris. That is going to be wide receiver and famous surfer and skateboarder from Nickelodeon, Otto Rocket, from Miami, Florida.
Big, tall receiver, too. I'm not mistaken.
6'4". 185 pounds, though. That's not a very heavy guy.
That's a really stringy guy.
Yeah, that is actually very close to my real life proportions, which is 6'1" and 170 pounds. So 15 more pounds for an extra 3 inches, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror right now, and that's not a very wide guy.
Fun fact, Mo Holt telling me both punter and kicker are both offensive. So you made 2 offensive positions.
Cool. Well, I asked you guys first, and you both said it was fine.
Hey, no one has said anything to you yet. So.
Yeah, well, I'm leaving it like that. The rules are different from me. How the fuck is punter an offensive position? You kick the ball away and immediately.
I think just because you're going to be playing kicker, and that's considered more important.
Well, hang on. Isn't there 6 kickers? I probably won't be playing kicker.
No, you'll probably be playing kicker. Dude, you're ahead of some of these guys.
I mean, maybe, but what if I get taken what if he gets drafted the same team as the best kicker? I'll be splitting time there.
Then you'll just play both. You'll have one on each. No big deal. You'll play punter. He'll play kicker. You're happy.
That's what I mean. So I won't have to play. Yeah, no, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I want to. I don't want to split time. That's kind of the goal, actually, for that player. All right.
New York Herder up next.
Yeah, the Herd taking Bird. Dante Bird, the third. That was not planned, actually.
I feel like I need to take you out of this soon because you are stealing my puns.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, Dante Bird, the third, free safety, another Miami product coming here. And it's about time for me, one of Playmaker's players going. To me, he is. Do
you think he can make some plays?
I think he can make some plays. I've known him.
He's been making some widows? Widow some makers?
He can widow some makers.
Absolutely.
That's an Overwatch reference from myself.
Exclusively you, in fact.
Very much so. Not making widows, widowing some makers. So
yeah.
I mean, I think Playmaker is a pretty solid member, and I'm surprised he had to wait this long. Although memory serves correct, he's generally been very underrated. He's almost always a steal in every league.
I literally have no idea who that guy is, so you're probably right.
Yeah, he was in MFA, I believe.
Could be. That was years ago. That was when I was still an teenager.
He's a football vet at this point, for sure.
Angsty early 20s with the maturity of a teenager.
For sure. So I'm gonna let you go here.
That sounds fair.
I enjoyed having you for a short little while there, just to fill up some.
I'm a little sad.
Where do you think your players
get drafted? Oh, I have no idea where I'm going at this point.
One of your players.
I don't know. Which player do you think is going to get taken first at this point?
Oh, definitely Power.
I originally thought Power, but I'm not sure anymore. Man. There's a lot of good receivers off the board, and then Doomfoot.
No, Power is definitely going first. There's no question.
I eagerly have you, sir. Thanks for having me, my dude.
I will get a link here to someone else here in a second.
Yeah, I think one pick just came in. I'll stick around for that, and then I'll book it.
Okay.
It wasn't me.
I was gonna say, actually, I kind of wondered.
No, I just took a look. I'll announce this one and take off. The tight end train continues.
Yeah, Antonio Bell out of Alabama.
The Alabama Express.
Yes, the Alabama Express, exactly. And Bell is Megatron's player, so
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of star power there.
You should
Although
get off.
he's going to have to stand up to Optimus Prime.
All right.
And much like Optimus Prime, I'm going to
Bye,
transform all out.
Enjoy the rest of the draft here as you perish off our Google Hangouts broadcast here. Of course, we're broadcasting on to YouTube. So, again, I appreciate everyone's involvement here as I currently look to get my original setup back up here on my main desktop. It was a little easier watching the picks on there. Just because then I don't have to be switching between tabs and such and all of that. I will, as I said, be getting the link to somebody else here, likely LeVar if he's still interested. But for now, I'm going to announce the next pick. Seattle Predators selecting Kawehi Kallio Jr., another tight end. As Kyle said, the tight end keeps running. That's Splat's player. So congrats to him. Kallio Jr. is a guy I actually thought would go higher. I like Splat and the impact he's already had in this league. He is an athletic director, so it's a pretty nice, solid pick. And a solid vertical threat as well. I will be looking to message me or message in the YouTube if you're still interested, LeVar. Just, if you could put in the chat if you are still interested. I'd be willing to put you up there or put you in the chat, to be honest with you. Elliot asking when he's going to get picked. I have no idea, man. I mean, you were someone I kind of thought might go a little higher. But I know you were kind of wondering if you're going to be in the NCAA, so we'll see. We will see here. There's a few guys I'm a little surprised haven't gone. So, and one guy 100% that has not, or that has definitely gone at this point is Duckberg, who is definitely 100% gone. Well, I wouldn't say that, Elliot. I mean, there's a lot of really talented guys when you have two players in the league. There's some really good members that have not gone. I mean, Jericho is a potential Hall of Fame builder in the league he's mainly in. And he, has all 9 TP. He had 9 TP last week. He's done a lot of special point tasks, and neither of his players are gone. So, I mean, kind of a question of, when you get taken. But it's not necessarily as easy as saying it's your rep, I would say. Bryce Larkin taken here. Miami taking a kicker off the board from Notre Dame. So there's another kicker gone. Larkin is Green's kicker, and I like that pick. Green, who he may not be crazy active with that player, but you don't necessarily need to be when you're only adding to a couple different attributes. And well, I wouldn't say it, Elliot. I got some respect for you. I am reading this, Bengals, as you type to me in Discord. I'm just going to say it over the air, and I'll probably type it too, I guess. So as we continue on with the draft here, Larkin recently going San Antonio up next. And San Antonio taking Twister Rodriguez, a strong safety out of LSU. What's up, Bengals? Let me quit hyping them. Loud and clear. I got it. But I will say, with certain guys, and I'll say this about Jericho, sometimes what can happen is you could be a little concerned that in some leagues he might be a little more focused on. I know for us right now, he's really more focused on the YouTube channel than any league. So that could be a reason why he's falling, I would say. But we will see, certainly, going forward. But I do respect you, Elliot. I mean, I've seen you be active in SBA. I've seen you in other leagues as well. And I mean, I got no hate for anyone who, other than LeVar Ball, I got no hate for anyone. So I'm gonna send LeVar. I'm gonna send Jericho's YouTube along with myself, Jericho Devise and I. It is Pajogcast Media. You can find our thread in the entertainment discussion, or you can also click on the Pajogcast Media name in the chat there.
Yeah.
Copy and paste. Oh, look who's back. Oh, right when I was about to have LeVar Ball on too.
Sorry. Unexpected emergency.
Well, I hope
So,
everything's
sorry
okay.
for the delay.
Uh,
Yeah, it is now.
The draft's over, man.
Oh.
I'm kidding. It's not.
Oh,
Memphis
what round are we
Bandits
in?
select another kicker here, Benjamin Iron Toe, which is one of the better names, right up there with Doomfoot.
Did Doomfoot go yet?
No, we just had Jericho on. You
I
missed
heard
him.
him in the background as I was coming down.
So your second player was taken.
Nice. Robbie Round.
Yeah, neither of Jericho's players are gone, which is hilarious to me.
Neither? Wow.
Although, to be honest,
Ooh, San Antonio.
he has, even VHL, he hasn't been that active lately. So
Mhm.
I think, and I honestly don't know if he's really taking this league seriously. So it wouldn't surprise me if he kind of flames out. So maybe it's actually not a terrible pick. I think he's just on to support me more than he is about the league. So that is all I'll say about him. As we continue on here, we're in the 13th round.
Nice.
You also missed some trade action. You should probably get yourself caught up going through the thread.
Yeah, I'm reading stuff too, but I'll listen to who's picked and I can give thoughts.
Yeah. So the LA Reign taking Andre Diggs, a wide receiver out of Maryland. Andre Diggs is I'm just not even gonna try to pronounce it because I don't know if it's meant to be, but it looks like IFCSF. What do you think about this? Is Duckberg already gone? He's already gone. So Andre Diggs going pretty quick receiver, another deep threat. Most receivers seem to be going with the deep threat here. Might be San Antonio, not LA. Okay.
And then his Hangouts crashed.
Oh, your Hangouts crashed?
For like a split second, yeah.
Not my Hangouts, right? It's not.
No, it was me.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, yeah, it was LA. I thought so. I was gonna say I thought so. Of course, Mulhold is the one posting all this stuff up. Once again, thanks to him. So we are through 13 rounds. Andre Diggs going 78th overall to LA. You missed it though, Duckberg. I'll get you one big thing happening. Trey Masters traded.
Ooh.
From Seattle to LA.
There's their quarterback. Okay.
62nd overall pick. And moving up 4 picks in the following round after that.
So LA just lost a pick?
No. It's a little weird. It was 21st overall pick, which was Trey Masters, and 62nd overall pick, I believe. 21st overall pick and 78th overall pick for 62nd pick and 74th.
Got it.
And then the 62nd pick, they drafted Boss. So I'm wondering if maybe Hazard just didn't want to. But, like, why? I don't know. I guess you can't really know, but as someone mentioned, why not have, why not draft someone else at 21 and get that quarterback later? Which, I did agree. I think it might have been LeVar, actually, who posted that. And I have to agree. I mean, obviously, you don't have the hindsight to know that, but it seemed a little odd to make that move.
Wolfpack, you're losing a lot of value there.
Yeah, exactly. The Wolfpack, the next pick, taking Matthias Finkenlarken, tight end out of Penn State. Finkenlarken is his second player to go. I forget the member name, but I know he's got a Finkenlarken in both.
Yeah, it's big country. The outside linebacker is his other one.
For sure. So what do you think about that as I try to get this link to Ball here, because I'd like to get LeVar on here.
Yeah, we get some LeVar Ball on this. Trying to look at all the other tight ends that have gone. It looks like the other ones have gone pretty much. So yeah, I mean, it's not that run on tight ends happened. Looks like it started happening in the 11th round. It's a little bit of the 9th instead of like the 5th or 6th that I was playing. Or sorry, that's the GM's pick. 7th or 8th, like I was saying they would.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, you're looking at hopefully maybe some aliases or some guys who have maybe shown some glimpses of activity. And I think that's kind of what you're looking for here. What else do you think you're looking for? You think you're looking at position and all at this point, just trying to fill up your lineup?
Yeah, at this point you're looking position and a little bit of trying to pick up on somebody who like quirks that you recognize from other people.
Yeah, for sure. Now the Memphis Bandits have now made their selection here. They are taking running back, M.A. Ryder. M.A. Ryder. It's been a while, I think, since we've seen a running back go off the board. If I'm not
That's
mistaken.
anti-hype.
Yeah,
Anti-hype didn't go yet?
No, and I don't know who his other players. I can't remember. I believe he was a DB, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Anti-hype. He doesn't have one?
He may not have another player, actually.
He does not have another player.
So, yeah, this is his first player off the board. He's been, like, decently active at times. I've seen at least him a little bit around. So I think part of the issue is you're at a loaded position like running back. It's sometimes tougher to get guys to switch, and you're not really – if you see a guy that's even remotely comparable in a position of need, you usually go with that guy. So that could be more of the issue here. And like I mentioned to somebody else, when you have 2 players for almost every member, that's kind of a difficult thing to really even this late. This is normally what be like the 6th or 7th round, right, in a normal draft. So there's still some very quality members going here. The link has been sent out to LeVar Ball, so we will see if he does join us here. We'll probably have him for
I think with certain anti-hype, he doesn't have a job. I thought anti-hype had a job. That's what was throwing me off.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't help.
Like
I said, we will have LeVar Ball hopefully here for at least a few minutes. Not necessarily to host
technical issues.
Maybe we'll get his opinion on being drafted to LA and maybe his thoughts on the Seattle trade, because he was pretty vocal about that. Surprising, I know, LeVar Ball being vocal. But as we continue on, the Predators have selected another running back here. So Sean Smith out of Florida. He's a big, and by big I mean burly, running back at 5'10", 210 pounds.
Stocky.
Yes, very stocky. Kind of like me, I would say. Not really. I wish. That is the last Olympian. Those who don't know him. Oh, by the way, not where I thought this guy would go. I thought he was definitely going to end up on Kendrick's team because they actually are buddies. Sean Smith.
I don't know him, actually.
Yeah, TLO is a VHL guy. He was. You might have seen him in other leagues as Stamkos or a few other names too. But he's a pretty active guy, and my concern is I don't know how active he'll be here. He's a VHL guy for sure, all the way through. His last player in VHL was in the 800 to 900 TPE mark, so he definitely can be a very active player.
Well, then I guess he'll at least be a decent welfare, since you can do that 6 TPE welfare thing.
Exactly, and I think that's maybe the hope at this point, is maybe you're looking at a guy like that, and that's why I'm a little surprised Jericho hasn't gone, since he's not even welfaring it.
Right. Well, I mean, but he's Jericho, so
that's
do
true.
you really want that in your locker room?
I mean, he is a bit controversial. At least there's a few guys though, like Jericho too, I could see going here soon. The Neptune taking Judah Elliott, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Judah is Noble's player. And Noble, who to me has not been around much at all, despite being on the media crew. He's only made 3 posts on the website. And one of them is going to be at least one of his players. I don't know if he's a second player, but that's a little concerning to me if he's not really been involved at all on the site.
But yeah, he is in media. Who's the user for?
It's Judah Elliott, and the user is Noble.
Noble. Okay. Yeah, he hasn't. That's an interesting pick, especially before Jericho.
He's got 2 players. So he's got 2 players, and those are 2 picks. And one of the picks was for a job. That makes me think it definitely could be an alias.
Yeah.
Someone who
just laying low,
on a job and then just lays low. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next pick in. The picks are coming in fast and very furious right now.
Yeah, I think people know who they want now.
Yeah, the LA Reign selecting John Baker, an outside linebacker from Rutgers. Baker, of course.
Dave.
Yeah, is ex-Dave. I think it is his only player, I want to say.
Yes.
I was going to say, I think I only saw him create the one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who this is. I think he came from the mass email I sent. Oh, no, it's recruited by Shaka, so maybe not. But yeah, we'll see. Congrats to him. I wish I knew who you were. You might just be someone from NSFL. I'm not too sure. But nevertheless, as we continue on here, and LeVar still has not made his way onto our stream here, but that's no big deal. The New York Herd select cornerback Dwayne Harrison. And as a member of the Herd, what do you think of this pick as I continue to scramble to see if LeVar is coming on?
I mean, it's Ray Cobain. That's another good corner. We're stacking up that secondary. It's gonna be really good. There's not gonna be as many picks for me to take now, though.
I was gonna say, I believe Ray is a presenter, and he has been pretty active in the SBA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I like this pick. I mean, he's got a job, and I'm sure Bengals is pretty familiar with him. So
it should be fun in New York.
Who do you think has got the best start so far, in your opinion?
The best what?
The best start thus far.
I mean, I'm still trying to review. It's gonna sound a little righteous, but I think New York's looking really, really good.
I think there's a few teams that are really looking good. LA's really gone their offense together after with that Trey Hazard.
Yeah, that's true. That trade's a big one. Looking at it, I really like Memphis, but I've liked them from the beginning with how balanced they've gone. I've liked them from some second one.
I think every team's had a solid draft. I think Seattle made a couple questionable moves.
That's the only. Yeah, I think that trade is just really throwing me off.
Yeah, I mean they do still look solid. They did win, in my opinion. The other trade was getting bashed, but
that's true.
Still, the next pick is in, and it is Marcus Dare, who I know the killer was mentioning he was kind of curious when he was going to go. I mentioned to him, I think he'll go pretty soon. And sure enough, his first player off the board here to the New York Herd. So welcome to the team, buddy. See, we respect you, and we are now teammates. The inside linebacker. Yeah, so we did need to learn linebacker. He'll be, I believe, on the same. Yeah, we had Holloway there, and Evander Prince. So he'll be lined up with those two, and that sounds pretty solid. Especially, he'll have something to prove here, I think.
Yeah, if the Killers is active, as I know he can be, that's good. That's a really good pick. That's one of those good late ended draft picks that I was talking about yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. And funny enough, Moholt points out that the killer left right before he got picked.
Of course.
So
we'll have a nice surprise for him tomorrow. Yeah, hopefully he's still on the forums.
Well, he said he's going to go play volleyball. So I guess
it is 9:44 p.m. Why is he playing volleyball?
Man, I played indoor volleyball at 10 p.m. before. Also, that he could be at West. We don't know, right? I mean,
nope. Everybody is East Coast. Even Noah from Germany is on the East Coast.
Next pickup, William Davidson going to the LA Reign. That is a second quarterback for that team out of Auburn. So at this point, you will see probably some quarterbacks being taken to be backups.
That's High Flying Dwarf. I don't know. I remember him showing up because the name was cool. I don't know if they've been active since. But I mean, at this point, you're just looking for, people to fill the team a bit.
It's hard to say because not everyone got updates in time to.
Yeah, in time.
But with that being said, there's still some good quarterbacks, man. Dollar and the Dream's still there. I mean, Divide earned some points. I don't know how Van Persie's not gone.
He's what?
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah, that's his other player got taken. Playmaker had his one player taken, but not his quarterback. There's still some really good quarterbacks. I have to assume Shotgun knows something about High Flying Dwarf because there are some better members. Well, I shouldn't say better members, but there's some more familiar names to me
Seth
that are
Robin.
available. Yeah, more familiar names who have earned some TPE too. Miami Neptune take Leafy Pullman, the cornerback, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Leafy is someone who really isn't familiar with football, which is Leafer, I believe is his username. But he did show some interest in the league and has put in a few posts. I don't know if Wheaties knows him or if he's just trying to get another corner taken.
Yeah, he seems to want to put the effort in. It's just that somebody can walk him through the football nuances.
Well, he's going to a pretty good team. There's some pretty good members for that on the Miami Neptune, myself included. So I'm sure we will give him every assistance he can get. As LeVar, I believe, PMs me here.
High Flying Dwarf has a total of 10 posts. So, but he has
He
earned
wants me
some
to send it
TPE.
to his email. Oh, come on, man.
Still not going to work.
LeVar.
Trust me.
What won't?
He's trying to do it from his phone. I tried to show him how to do it earlier, but I don't know if it worked. You just have to be really quick with your fingers.
It's such a hassle when I'm trying to do this. This is why the Big Baller brand sucks compared to Podcast Media.
They can't
The
even get
Podcast
on.
Media member comes on, no issues at all. Big Baller brand, can't even get them on.
Rumors are circulating that Podcast Media may be in talks for a signing of a brand with Scotty Flamingo Jr.
That's unlikely. We only draft top 3 round players.
Rude. Yeah, Jericho's in Podcast.
Yeah, but he was an inaugural member. It's a little different. Seth Robin taken here, quarterback.
There it
Miami.
is. We just
Seattle
talked about
Predators
him.
taking Playmaker's other player.
Yeah, we just bringing him up. I was wondering where he'd go. He's got that name.
The rumor talk is the one reason my dollar may not have been taken so far is Van Persie. He was very clear he wanted to play quarterback, and he does not mind backing up if he has to in order to earn. And I mean, to be fair, that's an attitude I think some guys will have is when you have 2 players, I'm going to earn my starting spot starting as the backup.
And
I'm curious who will take him as we continue on with this draft. If you want to keep the draft going here, this little stream going, I'm just going to try to send an email to Paul just to say I did.
Yep. Let me just get the draft up because I've been looking at the old stuff, catching up. Let me bring the active draft up, my good sir. And the last one you did was Playmakers quarterback. So I don't think we've had anything in just yet. But so far, everybody in general, just good job, everybody. We do have a pick by the Bandits. Chris Elliott, the cornerback out of Ohio State. That is Noble's other character. It's a good pick by the Bandits. Again, we don't know much about this Noble guy. Did he get picked
He
by
was the
Memphis?
one that I believe only had a post.
Yeah, he has a post for his 2 characters and a job. I'm trying to see if the Bandits are the ones who grabbed his other guy. And if they do, I'm going to think that they know something about this guy.
I don't think it was the Bandits. I think
No, it wasn't
Miami.
the Bandits. Yeah, Miami grabbed them. So we'll see if this guy's just been kind of, hanging on the lowdown. I know he hasn't posted anything really in the, because I think it's a media crew guy. He hasn't posted anything in the media crew either. So we'll see.
I really think it's someone lying low. It's the ultimate way. You get a job, you get your 2 players created, and then do nothing else.
Yeah, but you take a chance as a media crew guy not doing anything of getting fired.
But if he thinks he can get away, as soon as this draft goes, he might have like 3 things being rated. But I mean, it's the ultimate way to get away with it.
I mean, he automatically he lost out on 16 TPE.
Yeah.
So there's no catching up on that.
Some people, for them, it's worth it though.
Yeah.
The San Antonio Wolfpack taking Chris Naldi, kicker out of Miami.
That is Rhodes.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier, he was someone who I thought, might fall a bit, but also someone who I thought could also go really high, depending on how people view him in the SBA. He's a bit controversial at times, but he is someone who can be very active at times as well. I still have to say, some surprising guys not gone. And obviously playmakers guys are both gone now, but we still have Jericho available. Devise is still there. Some pretty big names.
But I mean, I think, like you said, I don't think anybody thinks Devise is in this. I know I don't, because he hasn't been all that. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel like
he's done
he's
some
in it.
special PTs though. He got his PTs in for the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I just think he's worth the pick over someone who's made 3 or 4 posts.
Yeah, I guess.
And here goes dollar in a dream. Alistair Van Persie, the quarterback out of Texas, taken by the San Antonio Wolfpack. So they are going to, run with potentially him as the backup, I assume, or at least give him a shot maybe to start. He does have quite a bit of TPE. So unfortunately, when you make a quarterback, this is something you do run the risk of doing, is backing up. But I think with 2 players, it does make it a bit, easier to take. And if Dollar wants to stick by that, then good on him. I don't have any issue with that.
We've seen, I've seen personally on my own team, a backup quarterback step up into the starting role and take a team to the championship.
Seems to happen almost every league. Someone steps up that was a backup.
I know Dahobo had one. He ran backup quarterback for the Blackhawks. And our quarterback left and went to a different team, and he stepped up and he killed it that year. So, yeah, sometimes you have to wait a season, but it could be worth it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just checking into our chat here. A lot of people mentioned Rohan Davey. That was, of course, Dahobo's.
Dahobo, yeah, that was the backup.
Yeah. Best holder in the league. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, that's right.
I forgot about that. Wasn't that the league where Lynch did Rondain the third too?
Yes, that was Scotty Flamingo's league too. That was Madden Madness.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought that was the league. I couldn't remember completely. I was trying to remember. I was like, oh, I definitely was there.
Rejoices was the quarterback.
Oh man,
he left to go.
Rejoices, man.
He was the one. He went to the Cobra Kai. His first game against the Blackhawks after leaving us was when Scotty Flamingo picked him off 5 times.
I missed so many members from that. Oh,
yeah. That's
I know a lot of people don't really think, but Tommy Gamer, Joy Z.
Oh, I miss Tommy Gamer. I thought Noah was Tommy Gamer for a minute in the beginning because of his logo.
Chris, there's a new pick.
Get out of our.
That's right. We're supposed to be keeping track.
I'm keeping track.
We're nostalgic.
This is a big pick.
Get out of here, Kyle.
Hang on, dude.
Oh God, is it?
No.
Is it Doom?
Doomfoot went before Ryan Power.
Memphis Bandits, get out of our chat. You dick.
Doomfoot went before Ryan Power.
Okay, we can skip this one, right, Chris?
Yeah, I'm not. It's because he did this.
We're skipping. This is going to be a horrible. This is going to be a horrible pick. It's going to backfire on them. There's no need to pick this. Like he should have gone last round.
Memphis does take the best punter in the league. Undoubtedly the best punter in the league. Good for Kyle. Though. I mean, I was hoping one of his players would get taken here at some point.
I wasn't.
LeVar Ball PMs me back, says I can't join because someone blocked me.
Oh, that was me. Nope, that was me. I'll fix that now. That was me. He called me 5 times in a row and I had to block him. He seriously can't join a hangout if anybody in the thing has blocked him. That's hilarious.
Not even the host.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I love Google.
Seattle Predators making their next pick. You just mentioned him, Noah Hartman.
There we are.
Strong CT. He's German, you said, right?
Yeah. He says he was. He said he was staying up really late. He's actually he didn't get picked yet. Holy crap! He's really active in the Discord.
Yeah. I remember when I first saw someone named Noah posted. I was like, Noah from VHL, really? And then of course it's not at all Noah because it's same username, literally just Noah.
Yeah. LeVar Ball has officially been unblocked, so if he wants to try again.
I did tell him give it a second and try again. So
okay. I can't believe he just went now. Yeah, that's going to be a huge steal. Who grabbed him?
That was the Predators, so Seattle.
Predators. That's a draft saving move, honestly, and that's not just me like trying to
Assuming he
like
does
overdo
stay
it.
very active, yes. He doesn't have any technically updated at the moment, but obviously, one of my players doesn't even have his updated technically, so
Right.
not a big deal. Just his activity speaks for itself, as you said. Miami up next on the clock, and the pick is in, and they have taken Ryan Power. So there goes both of Jericho's players. Ryan Power, of course.
The man from the moon.
Horizon Lunar Colony, 6'4", 220 pounds of mean muscle machine and no intelligence at all. Ryan Power, the man who runs into walls when playing Overwatch and thinks that's how you play.
Genetically engineered to play football.
Ryan will join fellow meathead Max Thunder. So now we can officially say they have the power of the Thunder going for
Nice.
Going for the Neptune. So congrats to Kyle, who gets both of his players going pretty quickly here.
Does Miami change their team name to the Thors?
No. I actually really like their name. I'm not gonna lie.
We talked about this. I love the team, the name, the Neptunes. The color scheme bugged me.
I don't mind it,
but I get why it was done.
I don't mind.
I like red. I don't like it with the Neptune.
I don't mind it.
Neither here nor there.
The LA Reign selecting Sean Lott.
Yep, Sean Lott.
That is the last Olympics player. I believe we do have LeVar Ball officially in this hangout, if I'm not mistaken.
I hear noises I'm not supposed to. I'm assuming LeVar Ball is here.
LeVar Ball is here. Welcome to. We can hear you. Yeah. You probably don't have to have your cam on if you don't want to.
Turn it off. Nobody wants to see it.
No one else can see it. So, welcome to the EFL draft.
Hey man, glad to be here.
So you went to, I believe you went to LA, obviously, since that was the team you personally wanted to play
Demanded.
for.
Pretty much.
How excited are you?
Hey, very excited, man. I talked it to existence. I've been saying since day one, LA is a place I wanted to go to, and they listened, man, and it all worked out. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
How do you feel about being a running back by committee?
You know what? We discussed it. Like, we both knew we were running backs going into this, and he told me the plan, and I was sold from the jump, man. I'm excited.
I'll just quickly mention the New York Herd have select Hornowitz McGilligan, which is, I believe, the second player for DeKiller to go here. So they got both of his players. So LeVar, obviously, we've had a bit of a feud, although I honestly have enjoyed it more than anything else. So I was actually a little surprised you fell as far as you did. What do you think was the reason for that? Do you think it was just because you kind of made it clear you only wanted to go to LA?
Honestly, you know what it was? I think like I'm a new name, a new face to this. So a lot of guys had their like personal friends that they've known from past leagues. So they were afraid to take a risk on me. I think that's what it was. And me and Shaka, we go way back. So he knew what I was capable of, and I told him I was committed. And basically, he believed, and other teams are going to regret it.
Yeah, for sure. And the New York Herd selecting Trinidad Dynamite, which is Devise's other player. He, of course, is a third of the Pajogcast Media trio. Pajogcast Media and Big Baller Brand having their bit of a rivalry going. What do you have to say about that one, LeVar?
I mean, we don't really want to speak on Pedalcast, whatever. I mean, them little boys, we don't really want to discuss that on air right now. We'll save that for later. It's a glorious night for Big Baller Brand. We're in LA. We're excited, and we want to continue that.
What do you think of your guys' draft so far? Obviously, you've spoken about how you guys will be doing the running back by committee in all likelihood. But what about the other spots? You guys went kind of heavy on defense early on.
You know, at first, I was kind of head scratching, like, okay, we're going all defense. And then he drafted a fullback kind of early. So then I know, okay, I was like, okay, so we're going to be a run-dominant team. So I was okay with that. And then he took me, and then he took a tight end. So I was like, okay, now he's definitely trying to beef up the blocking. And then he took me after that. So I was like, okay, so now I see his vision. He wants a strong defense, but he also wants to be a run-first team. But then what threw me off was we traded the 11th round pick for a fourth round quarterback. That kind of like I don't know. So I thought we were going to be run heavy, and then we made this trade. So now we're going to be balanced probably. I'm just confused on what he wants to do. I'm ready to get in the locker room and hear what he has to say about this. I'm just excited, man.
Well, I'll say this. I think when you have an opportunity to get a guy who is, I believe, top 3 in TPE in the league at the moment, and really not have to trade anything that significant, it's pretty much maybe just one of those things where you can't pass it up. You were mentioning actually yourself, and I'm just quickly mentioning before we get into this, your team, the Reign, taking Ian Lennox, a kicker from Maine. So welcome to the Reign, Mr. Lennox. But yeah, you mentioned in the chat, I believe, that you were not a fan of that deal for Seattle. Give us your thoughts on that. Like maybe expand on that a bit. And what do you think of the trade as a whole? Obviously, you are adding a quarterback, but you're also adding one of the top TP guys in the league.
All right. It wasn't so much me hating the trade for Seattle. It was just like a head scratcher. Like for any team, how do you trade an 11th round pick for a 4th round pick? Like where's the logic behind that? Like unless he plain out went to you like I don't want to play for you, or he demanded a trade, then you don't make that kind of deal. You know, just a head scratcher. Like maybe Smitty's over there drinking a few or something. I don't really know what's going on. But it's a horrible trade, and the whole league sees it, and the whole league knows it. And Seattle management's being questioned right now.
Do you think Smitty missed on his homework a bit? And this guy, and he maybe didn't want to play for him, and honestly, he wasn't aware?
You don't have to move up 2 picks to take Mike Boss because no one else is going to take him. You could have still had your guy and still had Mike Boss. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason why you have to make that deal to move up. Mike Boss was going to be there. Moving up 2 picks for him is a head scratcher.
I will quickly mention, just because we are a couple picks have dropped here, the Wolfpack taking Devise's other player, Chris Klein, a quarterback out of East Great Falls, and the Seattle Predators taking Ray Cobain, their 3rd quarterback taken, I believe.
Yes.
Out of Oregon. I thought, for me, the head scratcher, that original trade that we're talking about here, was the fact they also took a quarterback immediately after. Now, obviously, Boss is someone I know who's familiar with Smitty, and perhaps that's why. But it just you were right, I believe, in mentioning, why not take someone else at 21? It's not exactly a bad pick. I mean, there's a lot of talent that was there, and to just take. Obviously, there's hindsight involved here, but it just seemed very weird how little they valued Hazard. So I'd have to agree. Maybe they did get some kind of notification that he didn't want to be there. Or maybe he just didn't want to back up even.
This just in, by the way, Bandits select wide receiver Robert Phelps out of Washington.
Yep, Phelps, of course, is the user Drunken Teddy. Which is the best way to describe Smitty at the moment of that trade.
Right. So of course I love the trade for LA. Like we've got a top player for absolutely nothing. But I'm wondering, like, why didn't Seattle ask for a future 1st round pick, a future 2nd round pick? Like, what's It just
like
feels
next year
on it too.
Doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you are going run heavy, it's still going to have a good quarterback. Because I think almost the best way to run heavy is if you have still a solid quarterback who's able to, when you're not running. And I know Shotgun mentioned to me he had some talks with other quarterbacks too. When you have that really great running group, it's nice to be able to throw a pass here and there, even to your running backs. So I think it gives you guys a little bit of flexibility, adds another weapon to your offense, and I look forward to watching you guys play, man.
For sure.
Oh, here we go. Wolfpack have selected wide receiver Aunt Jemima, a wide receiver out of Alabama. That is Hads from Ontario's player.
Going to get some things sticky on that field.
They also selected Finn Marshall. So they're just stacking up on wide receivers right now. He's a wide receiver out of Notre Dame. That's Jeff Hox's, yeah.
So thanks for joining us, LeVar. We'll let you take off here as you continue to.
I got one question for LeVar before we let him go.
Yeah.
Outside of obviously yourself, who do you think is the biggest steal of the draft?
The biggest steal? That's a tough one. Let me give it a quick recap, and I'll get back to you right now.
I know you'd want to say LeVar Ball, but
you know what? We all know LeVar Ball is the steal. I like, I'm gonna go with your guy, Scotty Flamingo, on the 7th, man.
Okay.
I think you felt a little bit too, buddy.
Him and Bash both going in the 7th
Yeah,
was
oh, Bash.
a
Yeah, Bash.
little late for me there. And the other the other player for him going 9th was pretty late
Ninth.
too. Of course, LeVar going 8th. So that 7th and 9th round, as I said previously, that is sometimes where the teams separate themselves, and perhaps you will be a big reason why the Reign separate themselves from the pack this season. So, like I said, welcome to the league. Happy to have you, and thanks for joining us on this podcast, LeVar.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Take care.
See ya.
So we will continue on here. Moving on with the picks. Got Memphis taking 0. Wazzy? Oh, God.
0 Wazzy.
It's probably 0 Wazzy.
Mm-hmm.
Running back out of Washington. We're at the point now where, you're getting
whoever's there. Yeah, that's the Wazzy. I don't think he has been very active, but
well, yeah, he did create 8 days ago and has made 2 posts. One of them being
his character.
One player, and I'm guessing his other one might be the other one.
I think he only has one.
He might. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, only one player. The other post is
might be in the intro thread. It could be a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just one of those guys fill out your roster. Maybe he does something on special teams. Maybe
it's an alias. Who knows?
Yeah.
Honestly, I've drafted aliases like by complete accident before.
It was a face claim. Was his other post?
Oh, okay.
So claiming a face and then disappear.
To read the YouTube chat for the Masters deal. Smitty, which is Doc, explains that the reason he made the deal, there was no notification. Boss was going to be his guy in the 4th, but he knew Masters had value from LA and Boss would fall. He said he received small compensation, yes, but it's something for a guy he was going to pick at 21. I suppose so. I do think.
But then why don't you pick somebody else at 21?
I think he didn't think Boss was going to be there later, but he realized Boss, because he was going to take Boss at 21, is what he's saying. But then realized with Hazard there, he was going to have a lot of value to LA. And instead made the move to get Boss later, and getting an extra pick moved up as well. I don't know. Still don't completely agree, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Boss would have still been there later, but
it's hard to know, I guess. And it's something that's easy for us to say, but when we're not in that situation, it's hard to know. We should probably catch up here. The Seattle Predators taking Travis O'Reilly, a cornerback out of Miami, and the New York Herd taking Johnny Evans, a receiver out of Georgia State, and the LA Reign.
Johnny Evans is effort.
Yep.
And
the LA Reign will take the final player of the EFL draft, Aaron Wingard, strong safety. So congrats to Aaron Wingard, because I've actually seen the last pick be a big deal. And I know America decently well. And if he wants to, he might be a type of guy who actually could end up being a steal.
And he gets to go to Disney World.
Absolutely. So we will probably be on for a few more minutes here, just recapping the draft. Thank you, first of all, to Moholt and to Bengals fan, Shaka, everyone who helped, everyone who's a GM, because they had to keep going with the pace here. And yes, America did go last. Drew Becker. Thanks to Duckberg as well, and thanks to LeVar and Jericho for joining us. Jericho, a little unexpected at one point. But
thank you for covering while I had my emergency. So glad I could make it back in time for the end, though.
So obviously we will find more. Obviously we'll find out about how good some of these drafts were for a lot of these teams. But I honestly think most of the teams did really well. Do you have
it was a deep draft. It was.
Yeah. Do you have someone that really sticks out at you as a steal?
Bash's players going at in the 9th and the 7th round. That's pretty big, but it was still kind of deep then. If the trade didn't happen the way it did, I'd say Mike Boss in the 11th round is a huge steal. But now there's like an asterisk on it about it because of the situation surrounding it.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So you're gonna have to see what he does to prove that trade was worth it.
And I think there's a lot of guys, man, that fell. Like some of them are just crazy. Like Dollar in a Dream, right? Like 16th round, 91st pick.
Yeah.
And his quarterback goes. I mean, that's a guy who honestly, yeah, he is going to be a backup probably to start. But what if that starting quarterback goes inactive and he keeps it up? Like, man, look out. I mean, even a guy like Jericho with Ryan Power there, receiver.
Yeah, if he stays active, he can.
That could be a big deal, man. I mean, he's really weird saying Ryan Power is Jericho's player. For those who don't know, that's actually Devise's real name, which is why it's really hard for me to do that. But yeah, Ryan Big Dick Power, 94th. I mean, Jericho's putting some time in. Whether or not he continues to put time in, I don't know.
I mean, at the very least, he's been if he's active in VHO, he's at least a 6-point welfare guy, which is at least, even if he does that occasionally, that pick's going to be worth it. And then anything else you get out of him on bonus is, again, going to be a bonus.
Yeah, when you're looking at the last 3 rounds here, you'll notice that as a trend here, a lot of VHL guys. You got both of his players. You got both of Devise's players. You got the last Olympians guy. There is a fair amount of VHL talent here. Habsbound from Ontario. I don't remember if he's in VHL much anymore, but I know he's in SHL. I don't know. I think we are still also working with them as well, I believe.
I believe so.
So yeah, there's a lot of talent, I think, that went late that is VHL guys who maybe aren't going to be 9-12 a week, but are almost guarantees to be 6.
Yeah.
And that's better to me than, I mean, that's still really good. Like that.
That's depth.
Yeah, that's really good depth too. I don't want to spend too long. I will say props today to everyone on the site in their recruiting efforts, as well as obviously this presentation, but really props for recruiting efforts because I believe today we added about 28 new members.
We are at 111, so it was 29, I think.
29.
Yeah, I think we broke our most online record today because we were at 57.
That's normal though in the draft day.
Yeah, I know, but good job as always. I do think we still have some people coming in from the recruiting because we just had somebody join an hour ago. So keep up the good work, everybody.
I think I mass emailed 4 different leagues today.
Yeah,
I think I might all the Reddit stuff as well. So that's obviously exciting. I think this league's been off to a great start. Evan's mentioning this might be the best actually that he's seen a league start. Also, Evans currently right at the very moment we're not actually using much. We just have I have a headset with a microphone, and I believe that's all Duckberg has as well.
Yeah, I mean I have a nice mic, but I'm even I'm running off a cell phone. Google Hangouts. So
when we were doing the first 6 rounds, we were running
convoluted,
OBS.
but
it was
OBS
a little more of a complicated thing. But
that was the video and everything.
Yeah, in general, just to do what we're doing now, you just need a mic and something to control the sound, so you're not coming through.
And YouTube.
So
you don't even need YouTube. You and Jericho run a podcast off of Podbean, like. The main thing you want is a good mic. Like you can even use a pair of headphones to keep it from echoing. You just want a good mic. That's all you really need to do this, and a personality to want to do it. So anybody who wants to get involved with this kind of stuff, feel free. We'd love to have you.
It's kind of weird for me right now. I'm discussing with both my GMs about a trade with each other, and I don't know what to say. So just thought I would add that. That's kind of a weird thing to be in.
The only way to make that weirder is if they were trading your players to each other.
No, that would just be cool.
You would just be like, I don't know how I feel about
whatever.
this.
Okay. But yeah, so I mean, this draft was definitely fun for sure. It's probably the funnest I've had with a draft. And
I'm upset that I missed the Robbie Robin pick. So
you did. I made like this really special present. No, I didn't. I was just like, he got taken.
He got picked number 1.
I'm gonna run through each round and I'm gonna give my opinions on a guy who could really have a bigger impact than the position he was selected at. Because I'm really thinking that might be a good idea to. And you can go through the rounds too with me if you want, and we can mention
Like at each round.
Well, how many rounds were there? There were 18. Let's do the first every 3 rounds. We can look at a player in the first 3 rounds and mention because I don't want to do one for.
Yeah, we bring up the.
So I'll start just because while you bring that up, I think the first 3 rounds, one of the bigger steals could actually be the 15th pick. Sorry, which is Ivan Zamora. I mentioned him quite a bit. I'm a big fan of Everyday. He's really a solid member. And I think Miami got a real good steal at 15. To me, he is the second best corner in this draft, and he was selected as such. But I think you don't usually see the second corner in the draft go that late. And I think he could be a real impactful player for the Neptune.
I'm actually going to go the same round, but a little bit later. I'm going to go the last pick of round 3 with MPC, Hardy, and Yaron Hester. I don't know how, like, MPC Hardy has been going ham in the media crew.
Yeah.
Like, his articles have been on point. And I'm a big fan of him. So I think he's going to be a really, really good pick in the 3rd round. And he's just going to be a speedster. Plus, being able to be a special team specialist as well, I think he's going to do great.
Clardy can be a complete boss, man. Like, I've seen that dude do it quite a bit. He also can be someone who disappears real quick. He's kind of one of those iffy picks sometimes, but honestly, I think he'll be really active here. It was more VHL where he kind of disappeared occasionally, but he is an SHL guy, so
I'm actually on the team with him. Robbie Ratton's on San Antonio.
Yep. Let's look at the next 3 rounds here. Well, obviously, we will ignore the GM, so we're just essentially looking at the 4th round here.
Well, you want to go? You want to do 5,
No,
8,
I
9?
had it in my head that we would
Okay.
do.
Oh, because break the right.
Yeah. So.
Gotcha. So we're looking at round 4, right?
Yeah. So the big guy here, I think, has to be for me.
Trey Masters.
For me, it's Trey Masters. Obviously, he doesn't end up in Seattle.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see the impact he has in LA if he really comes out and dominates. That'll be interesting. The fallout of that trade.
I don't want to touch him just because of the trade situation. I think Evander Prince is going to be a pretty good pick in that at the end of the 4th round there. And I know it's just
New York.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be really good there.
Any reason why? Just kind of.
It's a bit late for somebody. With Apache. I mean, he seems really active, and I mean, inside linebacker's a really good spot, and he's probably the 2nd best. And I mean, he got picked right behind Bobby Mack, who was the best. But I mean, I don't know. With those picks in between, I thought he might go to Memphis or Seattle. So a couple late with us just looking at 1 round there. So.
I don't personally have it ranked that way at all, but I have Hazard's player at number 1. Because he
wasn't inside, yeah.
Yeah, he went very quick at 11th overall. And then I also have Bash right there as well.
Yeah, I had Evander and Bash about the same. Yeah.
So looking at the 7th and 9th rounds, obviously we have mentioned some of those 7th round picks are really good. LeVar in the 8th, even Uzi's other player going the 8th, Green, some really good players going in these 3 rounds. But for
Brady
me,
Strapko in the 9th.
Yeah, that's a really good pick too. I'm going to stay away from Bash. I've mentioned him enough, I think. And I'm going to go with everyone's favorite name, 54th overall pick, Alexios Papadopoulos, the cornerback. Cowboy. Cowboy is a Sim League vet. For those who don't know Cowboy by name, it's Warren as well. Might be how you know him. He's a big-time vet, and he's also a really great writer and great member as a whole.
He's a good guy.
He's
a great locker room guy.
I love that pick. You get 9th round, you get at a key position, a guy like that. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I really like Chance Tubbs in the beginning of the 9th. I think it's every day. It's a solid. I mean, he's not at a key position, but if New York runs this team like we think they're gonna, Chance Tubbs could be really important.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. He was another guy, I know he maybe doesn't get as prioritized because of the position and the blocking build, but honestly, that could be massive, as you said. Who do you have for the 10th to 12th round?
Let's take a look. Okay, I'd want to say Mike Boss, but we have that asterisk next to it, so I want to kind of avoid
I
it.
mean, you're there
Otto
too.
Rocket?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say maybe Otto Rocket going back in the 12th round at wide receiver.
I thought
It's Scott Pilgrims.
there was a couple guys here. I think yourself's got to be up there. Ace Keenum is another one. It's Apache's other player.
I was just looking for somebody named yourself. I think you meant Robbie Rotten.
Yeah, I did.
Who the hell was yourself?
Ace Keenum is the
Yeah.
55th overall pick as well. It's Apache's other player. Another one too, oddly enough, Scott Kibbe, who I did say I thought went high for his, or the other guy for Stringer went a little high, but I kind of find it weird that 48 picks apart, the second player goes. And I kind of wonder, you have so much faith in guy. Why do you wait another 12 rounds? Well, not quite. How long ago would that have been? 70th.
I think we got round 4 to round 11, so 7 rounds.
7 rounds apart. You take his second player. And kind of interesting how different – it shows how different some of these GMs value.
And he went to the same team.
Same team, exactly.
I guess maybe he knew he was the only one who trusted him and knew he could wait on it.
Maybe. I mean, I know a lot of people know Kibbe, though. It's not
yeah. Well,
but he
doesn't always have the
activity's never been an issue. It's more his eccentric personality.
Yeah. Fair enough.
13th to 15th rounds. I swear it probably gets a little more difficult here because you are looking at a lot of guys we don't necessarily know as much about.
I'd say
but go for it.
Maybe M.A. Ryder or Marcus Dare.
Okay.
The killer's always been solid, and I think him going in a 15th round, I think he's going to have something to prove.
I'm with you on that, actually. That was exactly who I was going to say. I'm going to stay away because I would like to mention somebody different just for the sake of having other names mentioned. I was going to say M.A. Ryder because I actually, when his name did come up, I did kind of think that was a really a solid pick. But then, I was actually a little surprised like you were that he didn't necessarily have as much activity or even a job for that matter.
Yes, I thought he had a job. That was the main thing, yeah.
Yeah, which, doesn't mean he can't be a steal. I'm still surprised he did go the long. I'm going to go with a bit of a different direction, though, as I said. And I'm going to look at William Davidson. Not because I think he was necessarily a steal, but because I'm curious to see what comes out of this. I know Shaka had mentioned to me that he was willing to switch positions or something to that effect, which is why he took him ahead of Dollar in a Dream. And I'm curious to see what the plan is there, how active High Flying Dwarfs plan on being. Thus far, he has been, somewhat active. 10 posts, isn't amazing.
He's got a bit of TPE on it. I think he got the. This is where I think this was the good play on if he's an alternate. He has the TPE done that couldn't be done after the draft.
Yeah, exactly.
He got his draft declaration and his college thing done. So
that's the important part.
Yeah, you can do the rest after you're drafted. So
exactly. So I'm gonna go with him. I think there could be something there that ends up being real solid. Another guy I will quickly mention, Sean Smith, because he is active in VHL. He could be getting those 6 points a week. And 16th to the 18th round pick. I've mentioned a few of these guys. I am going to stick with Ryan Power, which is Kyle's player or Jericho's player. I think he is a really good pick here. I think he's going to get your 9 TP a week. And I think he's going to stay active. And the reason I think he might at least is due to the YouTube channel. He'll probably want to be promoting it. We'll see, though. I mean, he's certainly not a guarantee. But
that's a big hit or miss spot there. Just because it was so late, I'm going to say Alistair Van Persie.
That's not where I thought you were going to go. I thought you were going to go with Noah Hartman, who went a pick before Ryan Power.
Yeah, too. I mean, definitely not Doomfoot, anybody but them. But, I mean, Noah Hartman, it surprised me, but I understand why. if that makes sense. Like this guy's got to prove tough. He's gonna that'll probably be a big steal, but I'm not.
Can I just say, by the way, Miami gets totally screwed here. Every single team got to have 18 players except for them.
Yeah, they should get an extra 5 points on a computer player or something.
Maybe throw them like a late, like a 3rd round picker in the next draft.
And maybe.
I don't know. It seems a little unfair, but it is what it is.
I mean, it's like a special teams guy, so maybe give one of their computer guys an extra 10 points or something.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we should probably wrap this up here. I know we still have a few people watching.
Thank you for anybody who stuck around.
Yeah, it seems we have 7 people watching. I think I'm one of them, and I think you're another one.
I am not.
Okay, so 6 people aren't me watching. But yeah, thank you to everyone who took part, as I mentioned before, Moholt and Solus for the graphics, Moholt also for running the posting and such and keeping me informed with the GM chat. Obviously the GMs for being able
GMs.
to keep this running strong while also doing the fancy presentation as well. To my fellow co-host Duckberg and Bengals fan as well, who was a big part in running that incredible presentation earlier.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Duckberg, for joining as well, as I mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for having me.
Thanks to LeVar and Jericho, who both helped fill some time up as we went through the picks. And most importantly, thanks to all the viewers, because without you guys, this would be really fucking boring.
Thank you, Shaka. Way to forget the commish.
He didn't do much.
He didn't show up for his opening boo, so never mind.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Everybody boo Shaka.
So, anyway, I will leave it at that. Thanks to everyone. And I am excited, I'm sure as all you are, to get this league started. And so take care, guys, and we will see you in the future.